Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm James, that's Katie, and that makes this episode 40 of Cloud Control, and it's part 2 of this random top 100 games of all time tier list that we've been diligently working our way through. Welcome back, Kate. I'm, of course, still in England at this time. This is another one of our bonus episodes, and that means while I'm in England, you're actually in the process of still living in your old house.
That's right. I'm living in my old house, but you can see some time has progressed. There's not a single book on the bookshelf behind me, which is an odd backdrop. But yeah, I'm in my old house. I'm in the process of moving. Maybe I'm stressed. Who knows? Hopefully not, but probably.
Yeah, I'm probably drinking some tea
things
somewhere.
Things are good, you know?
You
probably are.
By some seaside town or something. Who knows? But yeah, who knows where we'll be at this time.
Maybe having a 99.
Hopefully. I would say hopefully. Sometimes, we're doing our thing, but we're here in the past today to bring episode 40 to you guys because we recorded in advance. And so anyone that watched last week's episode, number 39, would have seen the first half of this tier list that we found on Tier Maker. And we've had a blast going through the first half and kind of ranking these games, like, of course, Terraria gets ranked between Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2. Like, why wouldn't it go there? That's this perfect place for a game like Terraria.
It only makes sense. I think my favorite thing is like ranking like Tetris. Like, oh yes, it's between Apex and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Like, of course that's where Tetris goes.
Where else would it go aside from those two games in between? So yeah, this has been a lot of fun, and we're happy you're joining us again for the second half. Of course, we're skipping listener mail today just because of all the changes, and honestly, this tier list is very time consuming. There's a lot of games to talk about, but we will be doing listener mail back when we return to in-person shows. So please send your questions in. Anything gaming related, we're happy to answer it on the show to cloudcontrol@proton.me, or you can get in touch with us on Twitter as well. And with that, Kate, I guess for video listeners, we have the tier list up on the screen here, and we're going to get right back into it. We have 5 tiers that we've been ranking for anyone listening on audio. Again, recommend going back and listening to the first episode if you haven't, but we are ranking games from amazing into the categories of, I should say, amazing, good, poor. And then there's 2 bonus categories at the bottom, which is not played but good for games that we've, self-explanatory. And then our favorite category is not played and not gonna. These games could be good, they might be bad, but we know one thing for sure: we sure as hell don't want to play them. And my favorite game on this entire tier list, I have to say, is FIFA 20, because that's the cutoff from like, would you rather play this game than FIFA 20? And the answer for just a few is no.
Right, it's the perfect benchmark, because like, unless you're a FIFA fan, you're not gonna play FIFA. But like, I would rather play FIFA than some of these other entries.
Yeah, and like sitting down for 20 minutes on an afternoon to play a game of FIFA, like one match of FIFA, that's fun. Like, I would do it. I'd rather do it than Smite or Dota or I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I feel like this is going to be my new like in real life metric of like, if I'm going to do something, like, well, would I rather play FIFA? maybe not.
Totally. So let's get right into the tier list. We're going to go through these games. We got about 50 or so left, so we're going to be, relatively quick on each one. But let's kick it off. We got a couple good ones, or a couple big ones to start with. Resident Evil 7. What do you think?
Throw that boy right up and good. That game is terrifying, and it was my first Resident Evil entry. I really enjoyed it. I would put it like, honestly, like up at the top of good, like maybe after Ocarina of Time. I would say. Like,
yeah, I really like Celeste. So it depends if you. I mean, I wouldn't have Ocarina there personally, so it's kind of your call between those two.
I would put it after Ocarina. I think I prefer Ocarina, and honestly, there's some things in Ocarina that are as scary, if not scarier, than Resident Evil. But Resident Evil was a really good entry to the series, and I want to play more.
Cool. So Roblox, not played, not gonna. I mean, this game is one of those like mono gamer things for kids. You can do anything in Roblox, but God.
I would put it like high up, just because I think like the creativity potential in Roblox is really interesting. Like, I think it's a great platform, but I just think we're a little bit too old to be getting on Roblox.
I mean, I would
maybe after Star Wars.
You think? I don't know. I think I'd put
maybe
it after...
maybe actually maybe after Terraria.
I think after Terraria is a good place for it.
It
Yeah,
was kind of like creative sort of games. So.
yeah, sure. That fits. Rocket League is amazing. Um, I'd say it's towards the back end of amazing. Maybe even the last game in amazing. But I do think it is like it's a perfect game. It's exactly what you want. It's so simple, right? But it's just so tuned in what it does.
Hmm.
And endless fun. Like it's the same match every time, but it's just like a
Yeah.
sport.
I think I agree with what you're saying, but I suck at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You definitely have to,
yeah.
it's got some skill tiers, I guess you'd say, but I think as long
You
as you're
gotta
playing
put
with
your
people,
time in.
yeah, as long as you're playing with people though of the same skill level as you, it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, you'll have fun. You just can't be playing with
Hmm.
like some pros if you are new. That's all.
Hmm.
Beat Saber,
Now,
amazing. Right
right
up
up to
there.
amazing. I love Beat Saber. I would put it above Mario Kart, I think. I think it's like,
Hmm.
it's the same kind of idea of like you have some friends over and you have a night of it, but I think Beat Saber is more fun than Mario Kart.
I think I agree just because I've played so much less. If both were brand new to me, I might still take Mario Kart, but Beat Saber's freaking
Hmm.
awesome, so that's good. Have you played Silent Hill 2?
No, but I'd really like to. So I
Yeah.
think that's high and
Maybe
not played good.
where are you
Maybe
thinking?
I would put it maybe for myself it would be after Horizon before Isaac in
Okay.
terms of like
Yeah.
if I was gonna make it
I'm
to
okay with that. I'm
playlist.
okay with that. I'd rather play Horizon for sure. And like, I was just gonna say Devil May Cry 5 was my cutoff, but that's fine.
Hmm.
Sims 4, I think not played good would be what I'd say. Like, it's not my thing, but I think The Sims has a lot going for it, and it's a super cool like simulation sandbox if that's what you're interested in.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I played Sims 3 was the most recent one I played, and I
Hmm.
definitely like had some fun just kind of like messing about and making funny things. I always remember the best thing we did in Sims was Alex and I, like our younger brother, we played one time and we made this house and we put like it was a normal house, but right in front of the front door, if you were to walk in, the couch was there and like positioned looking at the front door. And so people would walk in and there'd be someone sitting on the couch, like just looking at you open the door. And something about that was just so funny to us. Like we
Hmm.
thought we'd like invite people over, then sit down and wait. So
Amazing.
I think for that kind of like emergent storytelling, Sims is like
Sure.
a fun
Yeah, yeah.
platform.
I think I'd put it
Um,
somewhere in like mid, not played good. Personally, for Sims
yeah,
4,
I would
like,
probably put it like after Resident Evil. Like I
yeah,
think like I kind of like once you've played a bit of Sims, I think there's not really a lot of
yeah,
reason to go back
yeah.
to it, but it's still like a good game.
Let's
So
put it after Outlast, before Dragon Ball Z.
okay, that seems fair.
Okay, now Infamous Second Son. I have played part of this. It was on the PS4. It was a launch
Okay,
title, I think, for PS4. And it was just
yeah,
like,
I
yeah, I think it was good, but I wouldn't say it was very high on the good scale from what I remember.
okay. I played the first one, but not the second one.
Yeah, it's kind of like a big open
Infamous.
world superhero sandbox.
Yeah, I remember the story being kind of surprisingly interesting. It definitely had like a lot of the like go do these things to unlock this part of the town and like
Hmm.
that kind of open world sort of design, at least in the first one. But it
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
it
yeah.
was okay. I beat it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the cool thing about Infamous is that it's a superhero game without being like a branded superhero. So it's interesting in terms of
Hmm.
like that context because that's like not very common. And then it had like the good
Hmm.
bad system, but it just was really binary, like kind of like the early Mass Effect, where it's like you either kill everybody or you save everybody. Like there's not a lot of gray
Hmm.
area interesting choice.
Yeah.
But I would say maybe like yeah, lower end here, like maybe even at the end of good.
Okay.
Um, what is this? Civilization 6, I think, or 5.
Okay. So
Not played for me.
um so if it is Civ, oh man, it's so
I think
small
it's a
and tough to
6.
see. Okay, because I played 5 and I played a fuck ton of 5, but I haven't actually played 6. So I would put it really high up and not played good. Like those
Hmm.
games become so incredibly addicting. Like once it's the ultimate like, oh, just one more turn, it's 4 a.m. kind of game.
Yeah, I've always wanted to try one,
So
so I'd say it's pretty high for me and not played as well.
yeah, personally for me it would be like above Devil May Cry, but
I
I know
think
you're a bit more higher on that game than me.
let's put it just above Devil May Cry. I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
I'd definitely rather play The Witcher and Mario and Dishonored before it though.
Oh, agreed. Now this game, James, please take it away.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man is for sure an amazing game. The Amazing Spider-Man is his name after all. Look, it's an
Well,
amazing game.
I guess
What?
I was gonna say
Oh.
legally we must put it in the amazing category.
That's right. I mean, it's an amazing game. I think it's so smooth at everything that it does. I wouldn't say it's like groundbreaking in terms of like what it does in comparison with some of these other games, but what it does have is the smoothest traversal you'll ever play in any game. And a cool Spider-Man story and, some fun Marvel Easter eggs and stuff. I think it's probably like maybe just ahead of Mass Effect 2 here after Red Dead 2.
Sure.
If I'm
I
being
let you
realistic
keep
with
going
it.
on that one because I have not played it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but
great.
I really like
It's
Red
great.
Dead too, so
But
that works for me.
Yeah. Spore. A game
have
that
not
sounded so
played
cool
Spore.
when it was announced, and I just never played it. And then I don't think it ever quite lived up to like the promise of being able to create all those different creatures in exactly the way that it was
Yeah.
described. I might be talking.
I think this is
completely-
the kind of game that was like held back by when it came out, like the technology at the time. And if they were to make a new like reimagining of Spore in 2023, it probably could be quite amazing.
That being
But like
said,
I think
played,
the
not
idea
gonna,
was a
right?
little ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like maybe on the higher because it
Yeah.
was just at least a really neat concept.
I would actually rather play this than Mordau personally. If that's
Me
like
too.
a For Honor style game, I'd put it there between Mordau and Watchdog.
Okay. That's fair. Now this next one's a funny one to rank because it's Wii Sports, and this is a good game. I think
Sports
Wii
is for
Sports
sure
has
good.
to like.
The only thing
For
holding Wii
sure.
Sports back from amazing was the lack of like it just could have used more sports. I think.
I agree, but not like the new Switch one where they're like, oh, we've got tennis and table tennis and badminton, and they're like all kind of the same game.
Like more variety.
It needs more, but variety, and so it's like Wii Sports Resort had like the sword fighting and like a few extra things that was awesome. So
I think Wii Sports would be maybe just above Tetris for me.
Okay.
Just
There's
after
something
Apex.
about that and Tetris both being a little bit weird that kind of like go
They
together
go together.
nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because like Wii Sports is one of those games where like I'm not gonna bust it out alone. But if any of my friends or my family ever said to me like, "Hey, do you want to come over and play Wii Sports?" I would 100% say yes and have a great time.
Yeah, I would never decline an invite for Wii Sports. That's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I just recently played. But if it had been like at least a 3-month span, then yes, I'm in.
3 months.
That's my cutoff.
Like, sorry, it's only been 2.5 months. I'm not interested.
Yeah. Did you ever play Bully?
I did not play Bully.
I remember I rented it one time. I rented it one time.
It's an older Rockstar game, right?
Yeah. It's a Rockstar game where you play. It's like, I guess it's kind of like a smaller version of like one of their sandboxes, but you play as a kid in a boarding school environment instead of a larger city. Cool concept, and people really like it, but that's all I really know. I think it's good, but I don't think I would play it, so I don't know where to put this.
Maybe like near the end. Like I would put it at the end. I think I would play all of those games over Bully personally, but again, it's just really not my
I think I would. Let's do that. Let's put it at the very end of not played good, because I think it is too good of a game to put below, but I don't want to play it. So, Deus Ex. This is an old kind of. It's kind of like from how I understand Deus Ex, it's kind of like an action choose your own adventure thing, similar to like a Dishonored, just with a bit more of like a sci-fi vibe to it instead of like a fantasy.
I think it's one of those games where like I feel like the story would really hold up still. So I want to say put it in not play good, but I don't think I really like know tons about it.
Yeah, neither do I.
I'm getting very like Matrix
too.
vibes, but I don't know if that's accurate.
Why don't we just put it at the end after Bully? That's easy.
Okay.
Because we know more about Bully.
Sure.
And then this is Deus Ex Mankind Divided. This is the new one. And this game has been actually another one similar to Dishonored 2 that I've been meaning to play for a while because it is newer and like has the same power. So I would personally rank this like probably ahead of Civilization.
Okay, that's
myself.
fair. That's fair. I could put it there.
Okay. What's Factorio?
Factoria, is it one of those like city builder kind of games?
I really couldn't tell you.
That's like a game I'm so familiar with the oh, you know what it is? It's one of those like mini metro kind of style games, but you build like factories and they have to like move resources
Okay.
around, and it's like very much one of those like optimized building kind of games,
Okay.
I
So it sounds.
believe, and I think it's one of the like earlier ones in the genre,
Well, I don't want to
if
play
I
that.
recall correctly. Yeah, I really don't. They're not my kind of style. I kind of want to play Mini Metro just because I think it looks so satisfying, and I like that minimalistic like aesthetic it has.
Yeah, I enjoyed Mini
Um,
Metro. I think it was a little bit like it's quite simple, you know. And I like the cars, the
mhm,
way they move around. It's like nice colors pop out and everything. This screenshot of
yeah.
Factorio makes me think it's gonna be like very brown and dingy and like factory
It is
esque.
that is extremely the
Yeah.
aesthetic, and it totally puts me off. I would say I would actually rather play FIFA.
Okay. Okay. I'm down.
So I would put it right after. I played over
Sure.
Counter Strike, but I
Sure.
would play FIFA first.
Sounds good. You
The
want to
FIFA
just.
test never fails.
How do we feel about these Fallout games? We have 3 in a row. It's Fallout 4, Fallout. I don't know what one this is, and then Fallout
That's
76.
Fallout 3, I
Fallout 3.
believe, and then Fallout
Do you have
76.
any opinion on any
Oh,
of these games or like?
I have played a little bit of Fallout 4, and I played a little bit more of Fallout 3.
Okay.
And I think they are on, I mean, they're kind of interesting. Like, I would put them like high up in, I don't know, I can't decide if they're the end of good or high up in poor.
Mm. Well, I
I
can tell
think
you
they
that
are
Fallout
the end of
76 is not played, not gonna, because it's online based building. So I think we can just actually slide that in
100%.
maybe before Factorio.
Agreed, agreed. I would put Fallout 4 at the highest of poor and
Okay.
Fallout 3 at the end of good,
Sure.
just to balance it out.
Sounds
I
good.
think 4 I was enjoying, and then it got to the mandatory base building part and I was out.
Hmm.
And then Fallout 3 I actually quite liked. I mean, it's basically just like Skyrim, but that
Yeah.
like post-apocalyptic and I think like it's just such well-made games with so much like environmental storytelling. Like you'll go into a bunker and you'll see stuff and like kind of learn a little bit about the people that were there. And there's so many storylines. Like they're good games. It's just you really have to want to play around in that setting, which I just don't think I
Hmm.
do. So
Hmm. Speaking of other settings we don't want to play around in, next up we got 2 more Far Cry games. It's Far Cry 5 and Far Cry, I believe that says 2. Either way, I think these are not played, not gonna for both of us, right?
yeah, I think Far Cry 5 I'd actually put at the end of not play good. That one did seem a little
Okay.
bit more interesting to me, but overall, yeah, Far Cry is just not a series
Okay. Now we
that
have
I
Far Cry
want to
3 here,
partake
not
in.
played, not gonna. I would almost rather play
Hmm.
that one than 5, personally.
Interesting. I think I'd rather
Would you?
play 5.
Hmm. Okay. Well, if you want to
Hmm.
put it in good, I really don't mind. Like it's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. The very end,
This
though.
one though, not Far Cry 2. There's no way I'd ever go back to an old Far Cry game. I think this one,
No. And I would rather play 5. Like, it's got to be lower.
yeah, I would put it maybe
Would you
like,
play it over GTA?
yeah, let's put it in between the GTA games. Why not?
Yeah, just cause.
GTA 5 I'd rather play just because it's way newer, you know.
Agreed.
Okay, Warcraft 3. Does this pass the FIFA test?
Nope, not for
I
me.
don't think it does. I'd rather play Fallout 76 as well.
I think
I'd
so,
probably
but I
play.
think I'd rather
Actually,
play Warcraft.
I think it goes there.
Hmm.
I think it just barely squeaks out Jungle Party.
That's true. Jungle Party, you know. And I think I'd rather play World of Warcraft because at least I have a good
Yeah,
friend
it's
who plays
online.
it and I could play with him.
Yeah.
So
Counter
there's
Strike.
that.
We have 2 Counter Strike games on here. I think they can
Another
go right
one?
beside each other.
Sure.
I don't
What's
know
the
which is which, so I'm
difference?
just gonna say this is the better one, and it can go ahead.
I like the circle pictures better, so
Yeah, same.
that's a winner.
This G now. This is Gary's mod, right?
That's Gary's mod, yeah.
My interest in this is so.
I
I mean,
would
I don't even really understand this game.
I would put it above Roblox because I think it was like the I feel like Roblox is the like newer, like this generation's version of Gary's Mod.
I see.
And like we belong to the Gary's Mod generation more than the Roblox generation.
Okay. I can appreciate a nice text, simple text logo, nice solid bold blue color with a
It
G.
looks like a search engine. Like it looks like I would ask it like, my soup is a couple days over the expiration date. Is it still safe to eat? Like that's the kind of thing you're looking up in that G.
How did that come to your mind? What the hell?
Oh, I don't know,
Okay.
man. I'm hungry.
I'm starving. Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock is an amazing game.
That is an amazing game. 100%.
The soundtrack is amazing.
I would say,
oh man, this game had like such an influence on my music taste when I was a kid. Like the music I like is, I think, honestly somewhat attributed to playing those early Guitar Hero games.
Right. It started with Donkey Konga, and then Guitar Hero expanded that. But now here's an interesting question, because is it better than Beat Saber? Like, of the two music games?
I think it is better than Beat Saber.
Yeah, I think the problem is that Beat Saber is more inherently fun to play, but Guitar Hero, when you have the full band set up and you're all playing in the living room, is so special.
This is what I was going to say. I actually think I'll change my mind. I think Beat Saber is better than this because Legends of Rock did not it was the last one that didn't have the drums and the multiplayer stuff and the singing. It just had two-player guitar. So from this one onward, I think they're better than Beat Saber, but
agreed. I think the full band is enough to beat it, but only two-player doesn't quite edge out how much more fun Beat Saber is, like, mechanically.
That's right. Heyday.
All right, is this another one we have to
look at? What the hell is this? I'm guessing this is like we've gone into
a bit of a lull.
Like a Farmville style.
Okay. Heyday. Well, this is the ugliest cartoon chicken I've ever found. It is a freemium mobile farming game.
Okay. This might be worse than Dota.
This might be the new worst standard.
Because Dota you'll get I would still rather play Heyday than Dota. That has to be last.
I think I'd play Dota.
Listen, here's my argument. Here's my argument. League of Legends has gotten so much credit in this tier list because of all the extraneous love that you can give it, because of like your everything else that you like about it, and that's fine. I'm totally supportive. You're not a Dota fan, and I need something to slam to the ground because that genre makes people unhappy.
Okay, that's fair. You let me throw Tony Hawk 2 into the poor category. Right. I'm gonna let you have Dota just slam down through the crust of the earth.
Because I would rather play Heyday than Dota. I would
that's
for
fair.
half an hour.
I would rather like I don't know.
I can't believe I just said that out loud. How did I just endorse Heyday?
Did you know that the Heyday game earned $30 million a month?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Oh, but that's from Heyday and Clash of Clans. It's the same developer. Well,
I bet you Clash of Clans made like 29.5 of those $1 million.
Yeah, Heyday. That's so funny. I don't think there's a game. I'm curious now to see if there's anything I'd rather play less than Heyday. This is my new like personal standard.
Okay. All right, let's get back
on track. No offense to you Heyday fans out there, but also don't spend your money on Heyday.
I can't talk about Heyday anymore. We have to. Oh my god. Okay, Hitman. This is the Hitman trilogy. So I guess I think it's some remasters of an original Hitman trilogy, if I'm not wrong. Hitman's a cool game. I think it is good, but I've not played the originals.
Yeah.
I'll take your yawn as a signal that I should talk.
That's how I feel about it. Sorry, we just talked about Heyday so much, I've got to go take a nap. Yeah, Hitman is one of those series where I really wanted to like it, and then I played a little bit of one on PS Plus and was like, oh, it's kind of really slow and like methodical, and like I like that in certain games, but I just felt like I hid in a dumpster for 20 minutes. I was like, I was a little bit bored.
I think the new ones, like they're a little bit more modernized at least, and like I had a really good time once you kind of get into it. But with this one, I just feel like the older style, you're right, like that slower pace combined with some of the, older mechanics and just less of the smooth and options that you can have in the newer ones. I think maybe like I still think it's good, but I would put it below like Resident Evil. I don't know if you'd
Yeah,
rather play
I think
Outlast. Like,
I think I'd rather play Outlast. I think Hitman's like a cool
yeah.
series, but for me, like it always comes back to like I really like micro strategy and like switching up my tactics on the fly and like responding to what's happening. Whereas like Hitman seems very much in like the macro strategy of like plan this like really long elaborate thing out ahead of time and then execute
Mm.
it. And so it's just not really my style, I think.
You know what?
At least in
After
the
playing
older.
it, there's a lot of working on the fly. Actually, but
Mm-hmm.
like you have a plan, but you have to adapt it because you're like, oh shit, I didn't expect this guy would see me. Like, I need to find a way to hide from him, and then you like
Mm-hmm.
completely have to abandon your plan and like change your disguise. Like, yeah, it's
Okay.
cool,
I mean,
but
maybe they're worth
it
revisiting,
is
but
slow. It is slow and whatever.
hmm
All right. How many games we got left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We still have like over 50 games here.
we've got a lot.
We got to
So
fly.
let's go.
All
What's
right. Hotline Miami. Not played. Good. This game,
Yeah, that looks
cool
like a really
top-down
fun
game,
game.
cool graphic style. What do you think? Hat and Time-ish area?
Yeah, that seems about right. I think I'd rather play Hat in Time just because the soundtrack's so flipping good. But
Yeah. All right. Just Cause 2. Ooh, oof.
oof,
Down.
oof. Now that's a sandboxy like play around, make goats fly around on balloons and stuff kind of thing.
All right.
That might be reductive. Maybe it's got a good story, but that's all you ever see about it on
Yeah,
YouTube
this is
and like
not the one.
advertisements.
For me, I would
It's not
say
the one.
I think I would
Would
rather
you
play
rather
this than
play?
FIFA. I think I still would rather check it out
Okay.
than FIFA and probably Smite, but I think that's as high as it would get
Okay.
for me.
Okay, that's fair. I would throw it
No.
maybe above GTA just because
Would you?
the
GTA
setting is
4? Okay,
maybe
that's
like
fine. I really can't
a
be
little more
bothered about
tropical,
GTA.
but
Sure. Hey, I got an idea. In the name of speeding up a little bit, do you want to just like look at these games we can see here for a second and pop out anything we've not played, not gonna, and just like slot those in right away, like all at once?
okay.
Because I don't think we've ever
I
played this game, which looks to be some kind of like motion control bowling game. I don't know what this is.
that
But I'm
sounds
assuming that
fun
it's
though.
going to be worse than, maybe better than Payday. So I'll put it
Better
there.
than Heyday. Better than
I don't even
Heyday.
know what that is. Is there anything else you can see that's like of that ilk, you know?
Let me see. The problem is that
You
some of
can't
these
see
are
too well.
very small.
Yeah, they
There
are.
is there's a really anime looking game under Fall Guys that I've never heard of.
Oh yeah, this is called Neptuna something something. I can't really see. I assume we don't want to play it. Let's put it
No.
pretty low because we can't even see what it is.
Perhaps after FIFA.
Perhaps after FIFA, sure. Okay, after FIFA. Okay, maybe this doesn't work the best if you can't see, but maybe we'll just do that as we go. Okay, this is Kingdom Hearts next.
Okay,
Which
is it Kingdom Hearts? That's Kingdom Hearts 1, I believe.
Is it? Okay. I've played Kingdom Hearts
It
1
looks
a
like
little bit.
one. I have actually beaten Kingdom Hearts 1, and I think it's a pretty good game.
Okay.
It's bizarre, but that's kind of part of the charm of it. And like going to the Disney worlds is just like weirdly nostalgic. And like the Final Fantasy thrown in there, it just like it shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, it's got like that 90s,
yeah,
early 2000s magic kind of thing. Like it's
yeah,
so PS2 feeling to me.
it really is like it's so that vibe. I would throw it maybe above Uncharted 2, personally, is where I'd put it. Like I don't think it's an amazing game, but it was definitely like fun at the time, and it's just kind of a nice like cozy experience to play through it.
Fair enough. Life is Strange. We have 2 games here back to back, and I've never played these, unfortunately.
I have not. I played the first like half an hour to an hour of Life is Strange, but I don't think that counts because like it's you got to get into the story for that kind of a game to shine through. So I'd probably put it in not play good. I think it's a series that a lot of people are really excited about, but
yeah, I don't know which one is which here. This is Life is Strange. I think this is the True Colors DLC. And I think it's for the same game, judging by the art style. So we can probably put them together. I think it would be pretty high on not played good. Like it is the style of game that's like the choose your own adventure, like interact with people, see what happens, you know? Could we put it after
I think what it was,
Horizon?
Yeah, that seems fair. I think it didn't hook me because it was like very much you're a high school girl and like she was kind of an annoying character, but it was like, okay, she's a high school girl, so it actually makes sense. And then I think I was like really sick when I tried it, and I just like, that maybe contributed to just not really feeling it, and so
It's
I
fine.
kind of maybe ruined it for myself. Um,
And now
okay, so we've got.
this is next Metro 2033. I think it's cut off.
I have not played those
Not
games, but
played
they
it.
actually look pretty cool.
Yeah, they look
It's
like.
kind of a neat setting for those like military style games.
Yeah, I get the. I think it's like nuclear waste and stuff, right? And like some mutated things and.
Yeah, and so they like
They're,
live in the underground in the metro because there's so much like radiation up top, and then when you do go up, there's a bunch of like monsters of like genetically mutated creatures. So I think it's actually like a really cool setting. Like to me, this sounds just like a more interesting version of Fallout.
I agree that it's more interesting than Fallout. My thing with this game is anything I've ever seen from it is just that classic problem of like everything is brown, which is
Mm.
totally uninteresting
Mm-hmm.
to me graphics
Yeah,
wise.
guys,
But
there are colors, and colors
yeah,
can be very,
how about we
very
just slide it
helpful.
in front of this Fallout 3 here? Or no, we haven't played it
Okay, that
though. We
seems
haven't
reasonable.
played it, so we could be top of
Oh,
core. Top of not played. Good. No, that's not right. Would we
not
play
played
this?
good, but like, no, I
Yeah.
haven't played it.
No, I said would we
We're
play? Would
falling
we play?
apart.
Would we play this?
I think I would play it. I think
Okay.
I would try it
We're
out.
falling apart. We still have like
Maybe
45 games to rank.
I would put it maybe like above Bully. Like I
Okay.
would definitely
Yeah.
play it over
Okay.
Bully.
All right. Sure. What is this? Mountain Blade. I don't even want to know what that is, and I couldn't have any less interest.
I agree. I think it's like maybe one of those like big war
Yeah.
sims.
It's the same. Well, that's
And
the same as
also
Mordhau, right? Isn't Mordhau similar?
it has ground-breaking horse combat apparently.
I
Not
bet
interested,
that's not
especially
true.
since especially since I thought you said Mountain Blade, which is a way
Oh
cooler
no.
name than Mount and Blade.
Yeah.
So,
You know what?
you know,
We don't have time for this game. We're just going to toss it down in
no.
after FIFA. Let's put it down here really low because I think it looks like not good. Let's put it before Jungle
Mhm.
Party, after Warcraft. What is this? This is
That's Nier.
Nier, yeah. Nier is great. Really
Now,
enjoyed it.
have you played Nier?
I have. Only the thing
Oh,
is though with
okay.
Nier, I've only beat it one time, and it's one of those like beating it the first time isn't actually beating the games where you have to,
Mhm.
the actual story is through multiple playthroughs and things change.
Mhm.
So I can't like I have beaten it, but have I really beaten it? I don't know. But it was great. Like I would say what I played was good, and I can definitely see how there's a path to it getting to that like maybe low end amazing
Yeah.
tier.
Nier is like one of those games that's been super, super high up on my list for a long time, and it's like a crime I have not played it yet. I think it's just because I don't own it, and so I keep like playing other things instead of buying it. But like, I really, really want to play it. I think it's one of those games that could low key like shoot up to very high on my list, just based on what I know about it.
For now, I think let's put it maybe between these two, God of War 3 and Uncharted 4, like
God of
really
War
high and
Uncharted.
good, just on the premise that you've not played it and I liked it, but I probably should have played more,
Okay, I agree. And I am like making a mental note now of like I've remembered Nier. I have to play Nier.
I can't read this. It says something Logic 2.
Yes, I tried to Google it, but I'm just getting a lot of like online logic puzzle
Yeah.
games, which is not helpful. So
Well, we don't even know what
let's
this is
throw
called,
that
so we
in.
can't possibly play it. Not played, not gonna.
Yeah, above FIFA though, because maybe it's a
Yeah.
puzzle game,
Okay.
and that seems better.
Okay, just above FIFA. Path of Exile. This is a game I've seen the title of so many times, but what is this?
It's pretty good. It's one of those kind of like top-down like Diablo style games. It's free to play, which is quite nice. But like not, I think all the microtransactions are like just cosmetics and stuff. So I've played a little bit of Path of Exile and I quite liked it, but it's definitely one of those like you have to put 700 hours into it kind of game. But I would put it in good. I would put it maybe like at least above Fallout, because I secretly don't even like Fallout, but I don't know why I put it there.
Plants vs. Zombies, a true classic. I think this is a good game. I don't think it's amazing.
I think it's good.
I think amazing is maybe a bit of a strong word, but I really enjoy Plants vs Zombies. I have like re-downloaded it a
Yeah,
few times over the years, and like you play it on your phone. It's a good time.
yeah. It's definitely a cute game. I think it's maybe like it's hard for a game that simplistic to be amazing, like
Hmm.
something like Rocket League has the added complexity and like the teamwork of playing with your team and like
Well, there's a bit more variation, right? Like you have a 3D space. You're like
Mhm.
Plants vs Zombies. There's a certain like you know how to beat the level. Like I guess you could choose some different plants, but it's not exactly like a different experience every time. But it's fun. Like
Mhm.
it's a good game. I think it's like low end good. Um,
Mhm.
what do you think? Like after Wind Waker, after
Eh,
after Uncharted 2,
yeah, maybe
maybe.
after Uncharted 2.
Yeah,
I think Nate's just so charming that maybe
yeah.
he can
Better than
take
Left
a
4 Dead.
plant
Okay,
out.
that's true.
Yeah,
All right,
I think that's
Postal.
fair.
I don't know what
Isn't
that
that
is.
like where you are like a mail worker and you just go on like a killing spree? I think it's kind of like a GTA kind
Oh
of.
God, that's a really awful game if that's what you do.
I have absolutely. I don't know. Maybe I'm making this
You know what?
totally
I think
up.
I have a weird thing. This is like a crime detective game, like a point and click.
We have no idea.
I think this is like a point and click
It's
adventure.
a shooter.
Is it? Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
Well,
throw that in not
this is
played, not good.
bad. No, this is. I'd rather
Man, we've
play
hit
FIFA
like
than
such
this.
a weird low.
I'd rather play FIFA than this. This is gonna go low
There are
down.
some really good games coming up. We've hit a weird
All
lull
right.
of games like we just have not really played.
I've not played Prototype either.
No,
It's
but
like a
I
third
think the
person
character
action.
design looks cool.
Yeah, I would say like maybe low end. I don't think I'd ever really play it. Like I would play it, but it would never make it to the top of the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I would have played it like back in 2012 when it came out and thought it
Mm.
was cool, but like there's just so many
Let's
games now.
let's put it in like low, not played good. Maybe like before
Hmm.
Metro.
Yeah, that seems good. Just because he's like got a cool creepy arm, you
Rainbow
know?
Six Siege, I don't think is for us. This is like Tom Clancy military online.
Yeah, now I
Um,
will say that Rainbow Six Siege actually looks like really good.
hmm,
I think it's the one where like you gotta like you're like in a small environment and you have to like you're
right,
either the
cover the
team
corners.
defending or the team going in. But like it's so tactical that like you have to have a team and like be on voice comms and like you can like shoot people through walls and stuff. Like it seems actually like a really cool game if you get into it. But
Hmm,
like if you don't, you can't really play it casually, I think. So I
yeah,
actually think it looks cool and there's like a world in which I maybe get into it, but
yeah. I mean, sure. I don't even
just
like.
the
I guess it's not
strategy
played good.
element
You
is
know.
nice. But yeah, I would put it like maybe near the end, like maybe above Metro
Okay.
and
Between Metro and Prototype, it's a new
Mhm.
trio. Saints Row 2, I love Saints Row 2, and it's one of those things. It's such a hard game to think back on, just because it's like at the time, like it was so funny and like it was just that perfect balance of zaniness crossed with GTA. But the thing is, like, if you
Mhm.
play it now, it's like there's so many things that are just unacceptable in that game. Like, you just like offensive jokes and just things that you couldn't do these days. And like that part of the game is just not aged well, despite like some of the zany humor you can still pick out that's so hilarious and like off the wall.
Mhm.
I still think it's a good game, but I don't know. Like, I kind of maybe would put it at the top of poor now for what it is. Like,
Mhm.
it's fine. It would be maybe like in this area. Fallout 4, like maybe
Okay.
between the Fallouts. What do you think?
Okay,
It's
yeah,
a new
that seems
trend.
good. Break them
Last
up.
up good. Saints Row 2 is fun though, for like the sandbox nature and like the crazy stuff you can do. In a way that I wouldn't want to play Sniper Elite. There's some sandbox
Mhm.
stuff there, I
No.
think, as well.
Throw
But
Sniper Elite straight down to the bottom.
would you play it over FIFA?
Oh no.
No.
No, I play
I'd
FIFA.
play Counter Strike over it too. I think I'd play
Yeah,
Warcraft.
okay.
No, I think I'd play it over Warcraft. I think that's my line.
Okay, that's fair.
You could line
That's
up some
fair. We
nice
can
sniper
throw it
shots.
there.
That sounds better than like min
That's
maxing your
true. I
armor
do
in
like
Warcraft.
sniping in,
You know.
Fortnite sometimes. Stalker 6 is the same kind of thing to me. I don't know. It sounds like another war game. There's a
Okay.
million of those.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, to be honest. I was thinking horror, but I've never played it, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah. The Stalker 6 one is a sign call of an Apache helicopter, so I've already fallen asleep.
Okay. I don't know if that passes the FIFA test either. Let's
Nope,
stick it.
I don't think it does.
before Mountain
You
Blade.
know, nobody gets hurt in a nice, friendly game of soccer, but a lot of people die in a war, so that's no good.
So Battlefront 2, this is the original Battlefront 2, and this is a good game. I remember having so much fun playing that and like being on the ground, and then you get enough kills and you can become like one of the Jedi, or you can fly up into space and like get into space battles
Yeah.
at the same time as people are fighting on the planet. Like that stuff is so cool, especially for like such an early online game like that. I think it's like
Yeah, I
good.
feel like we rented that game a lot of times, and it was really exciting when you like racked up enough points to become one of the like named characters.
I think it's good. I think
Hmm.
it's good, but it's like obviously near the bottom end of good for these days, I would say. Maybe like Left 4 Dead 2 territory. I'd probably say it's like a little worse than Left 4 Dead
Okay,
2.
that's reasonable. I have very, very vague
Yeah.
memories of it.
And this is the new Battlefront, which I've not played, and I know it had a lot of
Oh, is
the
this one of
microtransaction
those
stuff.
riddled with
Yeah.
microtransactions?
I mean,
Yeah, let's go ahead and
yeah.
not play Not Gonna, because we just don't support that kind of EA content.
No, can't do it. And I think it's been, for what it's worth, been like improved, but it doesn't change the fact it still had that for a long time. And
Yeah, it's kind of one of those like too late sort of
Yeah.
syndrome where it's like, you know what, you only improved it because like everybody gave you so much heck for it. Like you would have ran away with it if there wasn't the backlash. So like, yeah, you improved it and that's a good thing, but it just still doesn't feel very genuine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That being said, I'd rather play FIFA than that, but I still think I'd rather play Battlefront than anything else.
Yeah, because I think it's still a fun game to play,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Now, have you played Super Hot? Speaking of fun games to play, because I love
I have
Super Hot.
played a bit of Super Hot, and it's an awesome
It's
game.
awesome. I think Super Hot
Especially in VR.
Super Hot might be like the worst game in Amazing.
I agree. I think it is a fantastic game. In VR especially as well, like it feels so cool to pull off like a sequence in Super Hot.
You're like catching a gun, you like shoot a guy, then you chuck it, knock the next thing, like pick another gun up off the table, dodge a bullet. Like the chain reaction of how you get through each level is so fun.
It is really one of those things where you watch someone else play and you're like, okay, but like it's not really that cool. Like this kind of looks a little bit like goofy. And then you play it and then you immediately buy into like I'm the biggest badass in the world. Like, it's an awesome time.
This is StarCraft, I think, right? Oh god.
That is System Shock 2, I believe.
Okay.
It's like an old like sci-fi survival game. It's apparently supposed to be very good. And I believe System Shock is like a precursor to BioShock. So for that, it's gotta have
it's gotta be
some,
a good
like,
then, not played
given
good.
to it. Yeah. I would
mean,
maybe put it like above Outlast personally. Okay. Like I think just for like its pedigree.
I mean, I'll even give it over the original Hitman trilogy. Come on.
Okay, wow, what a nice little bonus. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's interesting.
Now,
Undertale.
We're through the trench of kind of like whatever games.
We're climbing back up into some things we actually want to talk about.
So that is an amazing game. Undertale is amazing.
Now, on a different day of the week, I could rank this quite high and amazing. I would probably stick it just above Papers, Please.
Okay, I can agree to that. I think yeah, I think it's one of those games where it's definitely like not for everyone. It's a little bit niche, especially with a lot of the humor that's injected into the game, but I personally found it really funny, thought-provoking, and just like at least for me it was one of the first games I played that really was like fourth wall breaking in that kind of way, and especially doing the multiple playthroughs. So I find it a very special game. And also, like, it's fun. Like, the combat and just doing all that, like, dodging and, like, the music, like, it's a fucking good package.
No, it is for sure. And there was something just so weird about it. And the way, like you said, it breaks the fourth wall towards the end of the game and all that. Like, it's just awesome. And then obviously the humor in it. It's just such a funny game, too. And I agree. Like, I can understand, like, a lot of people would see it and just totally be uninterested. And fair enough. Like, totally get it. But if you play it and you're interested and you give it a chance, like, it's such a funny out of the box game in so much of what it does.
It's a unique experience that you just can't really predict coming, and then like it's one of those games that sits with you just like I've never really played anything like it. And I know there's a lot of like games that are, you know, really inspired by Undertale, but nothing else really still feels like Undertale.
All right, we've talked about Pokemon a lot. Pokemon Red and Blue, I think we would say is not an amazing game, but it's a good game.
Yeah, I think it's on the high end of good, like especially for it being like the first
Hmm.
one. Like
I would put it like, I don't know how you feel about it. I would probably put it like between Celeste and Ocarina.
I think that's fair. I think as much as I love Ocarina, like Pokemon, the OG Pokemon is like it's too influential to not
Totally.
give that respect to.
Yeah, yeah. And like legitimately I think a good in the context of like what RPGs look like that at that time, like it's a good game. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
Animal Crossing. Is this New Horizons? I think it is. It must be. Yeah. No, it is the little tag up here.
Yes.
This is such a fun game. Oh my god. Animal Crossing is so good. I think
Animal
it's
Crossing, I think, is another high good
yeah.
tier. I don't think it's quite amazing, but I think it is definitely a good game.
I was thinking Overcooked territory. They're both kind of like vibrant, bright, like fun games that are
Okay.
good. You kind of chill when you well, I guess you're not chill playing Overcooked, but it's just like they both have that fun,
No.
friendly energy, I guess is what I'm thinking about
I
there.
really like the idea of putting Animal Crossing right beside Resident Evil. So I'd like it to go just above Overcooked
Yeah, and
and right
and
beside
it's so
Village.
fitting too because like not only do these contrast Resident Evil 7 and Animal Crossing, but Animal Crossing is also secretly sandwiched between two of the most stressful games on the list, which is Overcooked 2 and Resident Evil, even though the
That's
art
true.
style doesn't
So if
match.
you play this so if you play this game or this tier list in order, it's actually like a really nice little break
Mhm.
between those two games.
That's right. Pokemon Black and White 2 I think is also a good game. It's one of these like more modern Pokemons I think is actually good.
Yeah, I think it's like the gen a lot of people consider like the last like really good
Mhm.
gen.
Mhm.
If you subscribe to that, I
Yeah.
think I would put it under Pokemon Emerald. I like Gen 3
Mm.
more, I think. I like I just like the way they look better when they were in
I'm
the
with you.
2D as opposed to the swap to the 3D just didn't it lost something for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's a
So,
great place for it, actually, right beside Emerald.
mhm.
We have Cuphead up here. This is amazing. Cuphead, man,
Yeah,
this
throw
is
that
like,
up.
oh man, you know what? After I went back to Cuphead last year and played the DLC, my love for it's only grown. Like this, Cuphead is legit like one of the best games I think that's been made. Um, I would like it pretty high. I think it could go
Mhm.
like it's not above Walking Dead, but could
Is
it
it
be
maybe about Smash
could
Bros?
it be above Mario Odyssey? I think it could.
I think it could be. I think Cuphead is not only like a super fun game, but it's also just like the whole aesthetic and how it portrays itself is just so fantastic. Like the down to the animation of how they move in that old cartoon style. Like every time I look at Cuphead, I'm blown away that someone was able to make
Hmm.
Cuphead. And
Yeah,
then on top
legit,
of that, it's a super fun game. So,
legit. We love you, Cuphead. I think that's a great
mhm.
spot. I think Smash is still like I would take Smash at the end of the day over Cuphead, but it's good. What about Death Stranding? This is like I think this might be like the top of not played good now. What do you think? We've
I
talked about
agree.
playing
Like
it so many times.
I have so much curiosity about this game. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but it's just so bizarre.
I
Like,
know.
I don't think I've ever like normally when you watch trailers for a game, you're always like, you know if you're gonna want to play it or not, and like you're so excited. Like, when an Elden Ring trailer came out, I would like, oh my god, it was the best day ever, and I'd watch it 12 times.
Hmm.
And but Death Stranding, like the trailers were like as exciting coming out to watch because they were just so weird. But I don't know if I want to play it. But it's like that almost level of like it's got like a magnetism around
Yeah,
it, you know?
totally agree. I will play that game one day, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
confident in that. So I think we can do that. Diablo 2, I've played a lot of Diablo 3, but never 2. Although I know people love 2.
And I have played some of one, but never two. um, so probably not played good. I
I
think.
think not played good. I think I'd probably put it reasonably high in that, maybe like before Life is Strange.
Yeah, I
After
think so.
I'd rather still
Now
play Horizon.
I would rather still play Horizon as well because I think the RPG appeals to me
Hmm.
more. But I think the Diablo franchise is cool, and I really like a lot of the Diablo characters in Heroes of the Storm. So
There you
there's
go.
that extra little bias for me.
Would you play Grounded?
Grounded is a game that I feel like nobody played it, but is notable because wasn't it the game that had the like spider
It did, yeah, it
sliders?
did. The spider
So the
sliders.
feature, the spider
Not a
sliders.
food item,
Yeah, it sounds like a
everybody. It's
horrible
not a
meal.
food item. I think we could
And
have
it's
a
also
fun
not a
evening
bug
playing
snack.
this. I think we'd have a fun evening playing Grounded, you know, like trying to survive in
Yeah,
the Honey I Shrunk the Kid's yard. That's kind of the vibe I get from it, is like it's fun for an evening kind of thing on Game Pass. So
agreed.
I
And I think the spider sliders are really cool. So
yeah, 100%. I'd put it maybe like what do you think? Like Batman-y territory?
yeah, maybe
Between Batman and Final
after
Fantasy?
Hat in Time. I
After
just
Hat in
really
Time?
want to play Hat in Time.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's good
Yeah,
for me. Just Dance 2020. Not played, not gonna. For me. I think Just Dance is
Yeah.
fine, but I like, come on, it's not. Yeah.
I'm more of a Dance Dance Revolution
Yes.
myself.
Yeah.
So-
The pad. Yeah.
But they always have fun presentations at the conference.
That's true.
Like,
That's my
and
favorite thing
everything. They
about
always
Just
like come
Dance,
out in those
actually.
costumes and like.
Do you remember the
dance
Christmas
around for a
tree
little
that
bit.
time, that year, and it like this is taking place in the summer at E3, and it's like, why is someone dressed as a Christmas tree? I'll never
I don't
forget
remember that.
I'll
but
never
that's
ever
fun.
forget that.
All right,
Let's
would
stick
we
it
rather play
before
FIFA?
GTA. I'd rather play it than GTA.
Yeah. Agree, and I would definitely. It passes the FIFA test for me for sure because
Yeah.
at least like you're up, you're moving around, there's music, like
Yeah.
that's not going to be not a fun time.
Your previous question, though, I'd rather play FIFA than NBA 2K.
Agreed, I would definitely have the
Although,
two sports.
I think NBA would be a nice. This would be a nice sports sandwich for Star Wars here, because I think it goes like, I
Agreed.
would play FIFA over Star Wars, but then I'd still pick NBA over any of the other shitty games behind it.
Agreed, and I think the Star Wars sandwich is nice because I think both FIFA and NBA would benefit from having like Darth Vader and like Darth Maul be part of your sports team. So
Would having, now this is going to be like a 10-second answer because we still have a lot of games to go through. Would you have a greater advantage if Darth Vader was on your basketball team or your soccer team? Which of the sports would he cheat
basketball
more?
team. Basketball, I think, because he just like you'd throw the ball, but it would just force go in the hoop every single time. But it would look like throwing. So
I was thinking the same thing for like a goalie in soccer. Like you would never score on him. He would just stop it. But
that's true. That's true too.
Persona 5 The Royal is next, Kate, and this game I think is amazing.
Oh, I see. So we've got regular
So
Persona 5.
I think we got to change this up a little bit. We got to put The Royal here in place of Persona 5. And I think we move Persona 5 down just a bit to...
You think so?
I mean, I think because The Royal is on the list, we could show a little love to like these 3 games.
Okay,
you know?
and slide Persona 5 down a little
like
bit.
I think The Royal is better than, like, obviously better than the original, but we can move up The Last of Us and Dark Souls and God of War. What do you think?
What's funny is that The Last of Us beat out Persona 5 Royal in
know.
our top 25 combined, but it's sitting after it in this list.
It's because of the flavor of the day, you know? It's how we make
That's
it. It's how we make it.
This is so incredibly
Who
like
knows?
arbitrary, but also accurate at the same time.
This proves the arbitrarity of these kind of lists because we're the same 2 people making the list and we've done it differently.
Yeah, but you notice the one commonality is that Bloodborne is still at the top, everybody.
Well, it's just because I don't want to argue any longer on this list, and we have whatever. We'll change that on the next one. I've never played Sly 3. I've played a Sly game on the Vita, but it wasn't Sly 3. I think Sly is a very cool franchise that is like, it's one of those mascot platformers, but it's more of a stealth focus than the others, which is unique, I think, because a lot of times they're like action or more like platformy based. So Sly is more about like the stealth and collecting things in that way.
Right. That's neat that it kind of carved its own niche when that kind of game was so incredibly popular. There was like a million like mascot platformers going around. So
yeah, and it does the Spyro thing where you kind of play as like some of the side characters for parts of the missions too. So it's a cool game. I think it's not played good. I think maybe not super high. Maybe I'd rather play Arkham City, but I'd say it's about Final Fantasy VII.
Okay, that seems fair. Now Spec Ops: The Line is interesting because it's the one like shooter, like military shooter game that I actually think I would like to play because of the story, and I've had the twist spoiled for me.
Hmm.
And it ends up, instead of being like the glorification of war, it is very much the opposite, and that appeals to me much more than like let's go shoot those guys because they're bad. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
like a not played good to me, I think.
Okay. Lower down, I'm guessing, or where you want to put it? I
Yeah,
don't have a
lower
horse in
down
this
because I
race, so.
still think like it doesn't seem like the most fun to play, but I think like the story interests me enough that it's like in conversation. So I would put it maybe like above Prototype, and
Okay.
then
Yeah,
you know.
that's fine with me. Valorant is not played, not gonna. Although I think it's
No,
similar
that's
to like Roblox, where I think it's like people seem to really like Valorant. It's good, but
yeah, I
like,
think Valorant is like the new version of Counter-Strike where it's like a really good competitive shooter if you're into competitive shooters, and like
yeah,
Riot has all the money in the world to make it like as good as it possibly can be. But it still just depends, do you like competitive shooters? So um
not really. That's the
yeah,
thing.
I not really. I'd put it like,
I would put it above the
maybe
FIFA test though. For me, like I would
I
rather
think it's
play
also,
it. I think it
I
could
would put it
maybe.
after Smite
Would you put it after
and above
Smite? Oh, I was
Logic.
gonna say like
Yeah.
above these two.
Okay,
Maybe
sure.
even above the
That's
old
fair.
Far Cry as well. Like, what about after GTA 5?
You're okay, okay. You're right. It
Yeah,
is
I'm
just
a
like
little
a good
hotter on that. A
polish,
little hotter on that.
but you know.
You know, a game I'm not hot on though, Kate. Crusader Kings 3 or 2.
Crusader
What is it? What's with all these medieval
Kings 3.
horse riding games? My God.
Okay, so Crusader Kings is cool because I think it's more of like a Civ style game,
Okay.
and it's more about like managing your kingdom. It's not like an action game. It's very like civvy kind of style where you're like making choices and you choose like what
Mm,
marriage alliance to do and like where you send your armies and how you allocate your resources. And I actually think it looks pretty fun. And I'm a little biased because a friend of mine plays it, and he like tells us like the Coles notes and like the really funny shit that happens in his campaign. Like you'd marry someone off, but then the husband would immediately get like smallpox and die, and it'd
okay.
just be like series of kind of like unforeseen, unfortunate events that
Sounds a
would
little
like
better than I was
totally
giving it
take
credit for.
it.
But what
Yeah,
do you
so I
think?
would throw it up like above Bully, I think, in that kind of area. Like it would
Okay.
actually be fun to like play a campaign for a couple nights, but
Okay.
it's definitely one of those like text heavy, like, read the glossary kind of games.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes sense. Now this is Divinity Original Sin 2, and I know you think it's amazing. Let's get the
Corona, it's
let's get it up
amazing.
there. What do we think?
Now this game is dense as well, but it not only has one of the best, like, if you can be creative and think you can solve a problem that way, you can solve a problem that way.
Mm,
And it has potentially the best turn-based combat of any game I've ever played
wow.
because it is just such a phenomenal system. And the story's awesome, the characters are great, the writing is fantastic, the voice acting is a 10 out of 10. Like, I adore this game, and you can play it all couch co-op. So I would say it definitely has to be above Smash for me, and then
Okay.
the
Let's
rest is how high am I
yeah.
allowed to put it.
Well, I mean, I think I would like to argue for Walking Dead just because there are more Dark Souls
Mhm,
games above than not,
mhm.
and so like I gotta get some of my guys up here. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Divinity is I'm perfectly
Yeah.
happy with that.
All right. Cool. Dead or Alive Fighting 6. I don't think this is gonna make it too far, so let's save some time and put it below
No, I
FIFA.
do like her haircut, but
That's
yeah, I'd
yeah.
rather be a soccer
My shout out
player.
about this game is I believe you can play as just a straight up bear as one of the characters, so I think that's cool.
Oh,
I
okay,
think so.
maybe.
Dragon Quest 11. I played this on Game Pass. One of the first big games I played on Game Pass, and I really really liked it. I think it's a really, it's a very modern style of like a classic JRPG. Dragon Quest, obviously, such a long running franchise. I think it would be like a top end good kind of RPG. I don't think
Mhm.
it's amazing, but it's just like a really modernized RPG. Great experience system. Fast travel's awesome. The way you craft is really fun. Like a little mini game you play with a kiln, and there's like a skill based little reaction thing you do. Lots of fun. I'd maybe put it like before Celeste, after Uncharted 4. I think it was good.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
I feel like I would probably pick Celeste if I played it, but I have not,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I
your
mean,
authority wins here.
yeah. Pick your poison, you know. But
Hmm.
yeah, Dying Light.
That's like a zombie shooter game.
This is like, yeah, it's like the survival. It's like the parkour zombie game, I believe. You know, where you're like swinging
Okay,
around
which
and
is
stuff.
probably fun to play for a night with friends, but there's nothing that is standing out to me about
Yeah,
that genre right now.
I think it has some cool stuff around the story with like you help out different factions, and depending on your choices, it's like, oh, you've restored the water to this community, but that means this other community has like lost their resource, and now the zombies killed them and stuff like that. So I think it's got a bit of going for it, but obviously I'm kind of guessing here, and I don't think it'd be very high. I think it could be like not played good, but towards the end for
Yeah,
us.
okay, that's fair. I would.
Would you? How strong are you on Metro?
I'm not very strong on Metro.
Okay, I'm gonna slide it just ahead of Metro then, because
Okay.
I would play it more than you'd play Metro. Maybe, who knows? We're never gonna play those games. Who cares?
It's so arbitrary. Fall Guys, I would put on the end of good. I think it's fun
That's
for
what I
what it
thought.
is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a game that like has tons of longevity, but I think it is definitely a game that I had a lot of fun with playing a couple nights with friends. So
I agree. I think Fall Guys is like, I would never sit down and play it, but similar to like a Wii Sports, if someone was like, hey, do you want to play some Fall Guys for a night? And I had nothing going on, I totally would. But it's just, I would rather do that with Wii Sports, and that's why this would be lower. Like, maybe like after Path of Exile even.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think Path of Exile is like a game I could play with a friend for like a week, and Fall Guys is a game I could play with a friend for like 2 nights.
Yeah, and you know, we have another nice theme. Path of Exile and Fallout make a great sandwich for Fall Guys.
You need a little bit of color interjected in your dark, gritty, brown-gray world.
What is this? Outlast? I can't read it. I think those are trees and it's a forest. This is Half-Life Alyx. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. Now that is like the VR one, right?
Yeah, this apparently is like the first game where it's, you know, an actual, well, what would I say? This is, you know, when people say like, oh, VR games are kind of more experiences than a full game. Like, this is a full VR game that's actually like well made. So I can't speak to it beyond that, but that's kind of the sentiment.
Yeah, I think it seems neat. I think I'd like to play it just because it would just be such a unique experience at this point in time with VR. So I would put it like maybe above For Honor.
I would definitely put it above For Honor for me. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
All right. That works. Let's put it a little higher. I think it could even beat out Hitman. And
okay, that's
for me. Yeah. The Last of Us Part 2, a game that you should play so we can talk about it.
Yes. 100%. This is a game that the second we are done playing Ruined King, we are starting.
That's good, because especially now that The Last of Us has won our latest combined list. I mean, this is the sequel.
It really is a shame. Yeah, I can't believe I haven't had it spoiled either. So please, without spoilers, take it away. Where does it go on the list?
So my opinion on this game would be that it is amazing, because it is like, you know, it's The Last of Us. It's a continuation of that story. Obviously, we all need to know where it goes. Like, that is amazing. And, you know, the gameplay is just upped. And, you know, the more like little bit open areas you can interact with and have a little bit more freedom. Really cool stuff. I think it's lower amazing just because I think it has some pacing issues. And I won't say any more about that without the spoiler stuff for you. So I think it's like, I would put it maybe in the Dishonored territory.
Okay.
Maybe better than Dishonored.
Slight concern for how high the first one is.
Maybe. No, but like these are all good games, right? Like I would.
That's true.
Yeah. Maybe for me, the ones that I've played, and it's low because I would rank it like if this was only me, it would be like higher because some of these games wouldn't be up here, right? I think I would put it like Spider-Man is the one I'm judging it on. I'd rather take Spider-Man. Okay. But I'd take it over Mass Effect 2.
That's fair. And I know you like Mass Effect 2, so I have confidence.
Don't be worried.
I will play it.
It's ahead of Yakuza 0. Don't be worried.
That's true.
Okay. Original Metal Gear Solid. This is a crime that we've not played either. This is like a true missing link, I think, that neither of us have played this over the years. And I would really like to play it. I'm hoping that I can
Yeah.
play a remake one day, and maybe the PS Showcase we're about to watch tomorrow can, or 2 days from now, can show us that. But I
Hmm.
don't know. Like, what do you think around? Maybe I would even put it like next to this for me
Yeah, that's fair. I think
before Diablo.
yeah, it's one of those series that's like, yeah, a massive series that I haven't played, and that's weird, but
Hmm.
I also assume the original games are like super janky to play now.
Yeah,
So I think a remake is probably the best bet for it at this point, and I'm almost surprised that it doesn't have one because of like the pedigree
it's
of
all the
Metal Gear.
contractual stuff. It's because like
Yeah,
Konami owns it, but Kojima makes it, and like it's all
yeah,
that
that's
stuff.
true. They've been kind of through the nightmare.
Yeah.
Now
Oblivion.
Oblivion. Okay, so throw this up in good. I want Oblivion to go right before Skyrim because controversially, I prefer it to Skyrim.
Okay.
Oblivion, fun fact for me, was the first time and only time I've ever stayed up all night by myself.
Hell yeah.
First night I played Oblivion, and I had this really shitty old white laptop that could run it, but not much else. And I was in high school and I like started playing it. I was playing it in bed and I just got so hooked. Like I'd never played a game that was such a big open world like Oblivion before, so it blew my mind. And I played and I think I realized the time was something like outrageous, like 4:30 or like 5. And I was like, there's no point in sleeping now. I might as well just keep playing. And so I went to school the next day in high school, had like the worst day ever, and came home and went to bed.
But the best night ever,
But it was
so
so worth it. I
that's
so I
awesome.
will always have a soft spot for Oblivion.
Yeah, well, I can't possibly put Skyrim over it now.
No.
Payday 2, I have played, and I would like to report that despite being a really cool idea because robbing a bank and setting it up and who's the getaway driver and who's going to go turn off the alarms, etc., it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. We had so many technical difficulties. There actually wasn't a getaway driver, which was disappointing to me. But it was just like really tedious, and I wish that I would have liked it more, but I just couldn't say it was very good. Have you played Payday?
I have
No.
not.
Yeah.
And after that, I would be
It was
disappointed because
unfortunate.
I think I'd want to be the getaway driver. So
Yeah, it was
I
unfortunate.
know.
Maybe I could have done some more research into that part of it, but we honestly, like, it was one of those, like, it took us 45 minutes to get our squad online, and we were all playing on PlayStation, so it shouldn't have been that hard. Stuff like that. I'll say it's bad. I don't think it's... I'd rather play it over these retro games, but
Hmm.
let's put it behind Modern Warfare.
Hmm.
Persona
Shame.
3, really want to play this too, and I plan on doing so because it's coming to Game Pass. I think this has to be my most not played good game, but I don't know how you feel.
Let's compromise and throw it after Death Stranding.
Okay.
I think I do also really want to play it, but Death Stranding is just that weird like basket case that's got to come first.
Fair enough. Okay. And it is a little older, to be fair, like Persona 3.
Hmm.
Persona 4 Golden. Ooh. How do we feel? Where you
I
at?
really enjoyed it. I didn't end up finishing it, which is my black mark on the Persona franchise. I think I just got like stuck on a boss, and that
Mm-hmm.
sucked a lot. But I think it's like high good for me personally. Although if I'd finished it, it might shoot it
Yeah.
up to amazing
I
because I
think
was
it's...
really interested in the story.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing just because of the story myself. Like the
Hmm.
twist at the end, I know a lot of people even prefer the story to 5. I think that's a tough call
Hmm.
because like I love the characters in 5, but then I think 4, like the story actually is maybe more interesting. So it's good, but the gameplay just weighs it down in comparison to 5 with some of the like, the
Yeah,
dungeons aren't bespoke and stuff like that. So I would stick it
yeah.
like...
The fact that dungeons are all very repetitive was kind of a bummer for four. I would love to see a remake of four kind of get the treatment of
Yeah.
five because, like you said, the mystery of that story and like the murders actually like I think appeals to me more than five. But it was just hard to it wasn't that it wasn't fun to play, but it wasn't the most fun. And then when I got kind of stuck on a boss and like was faced with the option of grinding, I just stopped playing, and that was a
Mm-hmm.
shame. But
Mm-hmm. I think it's
I
gonna
should at least
be...
like watch the end of it.
Oh,
see how
definitely.
the
You should.
story
You owe it to
is.
yourself to check out the story at least,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can actually talk about it. You should do that. I think I'd like
Mm-hmm.
to personally, if you don't mind, make a Yakuza sandwich with Dishonored.
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
think.
I think that's fine. That's about where I would put it as well, I think.
Okay. Okay.
And also, being beside Beat Saber is nice because when you get Persona music in Beat Saber,
Mm-hmm.
that is like the best
That's a
crossover of all
win.
time.
That's
So,
for sure. Rust is a survival game, I think,
mm-hmm.
which
It is.
means
It's one of those like you're
yeah.
on the forest, you have no
All right, this
equipment,
is a
like
lower down. Let's put it behind Fallout 76, just because it's got the Fallout name there.
mm-hmm.
Saints Row
Agreed.
4, another game that I've played, is unfortunately not a good game, I don't think. It's just, it has the Saints Row problems, but the thing is, it makes, you have zany superhero powers and all that stuff, so it makes like the city irrelevant because you no longer need cars, you no longer need to like go on the streets and talk to people. Like you're just jumping through the air all the time as if you're Superman, but you're like dressed like a pimp. So it doesn't really make any sense. It's just too much, it's just lost itself.
It went a little too far.
Yeah, it lost itself. Or is this Saints Row 3? Am I losing my mind? It is Saints Row 3. This is the good one, everybody.
Okay, scrap that altogether.
No. Am I getting one confused now? Saints Row 3 is the good one. Saints Row 3 is the one I meant to put here. Saints Row 2 is the one that's more GTA-like, and I want to put lower.
Okay.
I'm getting them mixed up. And 4 is the one I just described, which is where you're the superhero. That's 4.
Right. Okay.
2 is the one that's like straight up GTA. Yeah. Okay, this is going to be in poor. Probably like lower down here, I would say. Maybe above Payday, because at least Saints Row works.
Okay, and then Saints Row.
Yeah.
Saints Row 3 is replacing Saints Row.
Yeah, Saints Row 3 is the fun one with the zany jokes that just unfortunately has, bad humor that shouldn't be in things these days.
Okay, and on to our next game, Titan. I think that's Titanfall 2.
It's number 2.
Now, you've played this, right?
I have played it. It is fun. I would say it's good. I think it's got amazing movement, and the platforming is really, really fun to do when you're playing as the person. I think I would say it's held back from being amazing just because I would have loved a little bit more variety in like the mechs themselves. I would say it's good because of the movement, but it could have been more, is what I would say about Titanfall. But I think it's good. I think it's like, I would put it above like Zelda for me. I think it was fun.
Okay. I think that's fair. I really want to, it's kind of funny because I don't really have an interest in playing the multiplayer, but I really would like to play the single player campaign just based on what I've heard about it. And I really like Respawn as a dev team. So it's weirdly on my list in terms of like buy the game and play like 20% of it, but that 20% seems really interesting.
Yeah, I'm really glad they made this game because I didn't really even play the multiplayer, but like the single player was really fun, and that's what was missing from the original Titanfall. So it was fun to play, and it's a short campaign too if you got a chance. I do not know what Dawn of War is, or Dawn War.
It looks like another mobile game just based on the expression of the character in the little bubble there. I also cannot seem to find it on you know what, it's a Warhammer game.
Oh,
so never mind, it's not a mobile game, but it is one of those, it's a real-time strategy Warhammer game, which is probably low for both of us.
I think so. I don't think it passes the FIFA test.
I think it loses the FIFA test, and in fact, it also loses the NBA test.
The NBA test as well, yeah. Why is this anime game so high? What is this? Why is this still here?
I don't know. It's just like it just looks.
At least it's colorful.
Fun,
all these games are so drab. I have to put it above.
Exactly. Like at least that one, I would maybe look at the box art. Yeah.
I think it beats Factorio. Let's put this Warhammer game above Factorio.
Okay, that is reasonable.
Now Warzone I've played, and have you played Warzone
at all? Call of Duty, right?
This is Call of Duty's Battle Royale, yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly
have not tried it.
I don't think it's good, honestly. I mean, it's well made in the fact that it's Call of Duty. It's obviously not going to have like these terrible problems or be unbalanced and stuff like that. But I think as a battle royale, like I don't think it's good because you can have loadouts in this game, and you can like call them down in care packages. So instead of just using what you find, you like begin to optimize your loadout, and the loadouts you can call in are tied into like your progression and leveling up your guns. So you're actually incentivized to play more. Whereas the good thing about any of the other ones is you just hop in, and you don't have to have like you don't have a disadvantage. So
right. So there is like an inherent disbalance in terms of like the resources a player has at their disposal. Yeah, I think that kind of like ruins the whole idea of a battle royale to me.
Yeah, it would be like in Fortnite if you could every time choose like you can call in a sword once you get enough points, and you can upgrade it because you use it a lot. So like just because that's what you want, you don't have to find it. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, that is kind of weird, and so, I think that's the antithesis of what they're going, like those games are going for, and like trying something new is not always a bad thing, but that it doesn't always work out every time. So
yeah. I think I'd put it maybe like above Halo Reach. I think I'd still rather play it than that. Like mechanically, it's still okay, but I don't like that part of it. Shovel Knight, let's get back on the good train. This game is amazing. Very good.
Straight up.
Now, this isn't the treasure trove, so it's not all the different versions and everything, so it's not as high as it could be, but I still think...
So this would just be the base Shovel Knight?
This is just the base Shovel Knight, yeah. From what I can see on here. So, we'll rank it as that. I still think it's a really great, side-scrolling platformer. It's just so finely tuned. Like, we talked about it all pretty recently, so I won't get all into it, but I would like to put this, like, maybe here behind Shadow of Colossus above Portal.
Okay, that's fair.
I won't get any higher. I mean, Until Dawn is so much fun, and then we get into like the really good stuff above that. So, yeah, that's what I think of that. What do you think of Samurai Warriors 2?
I think that's a really badass game. And I'm stalling while I Google it. It is a RPG, I believe. It's a PS2 game. It looks maybe like hack and slashy.
Okay, well, I don't think we're gonna play it.
No, it seems like that train has left the station on Samurai Warriors.
Does it beat the FIFA test?
It beats the FIFA test because I think samurais are cool.
Okay.
And I like a lot of other samurai style games.
Does it beat the Valorant test?
For me, yes, but also I really don't know what this game is, so I might just be totally making it up.
I like it. Let's put it above Valorant, but behind GTA 5.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Now, this is a Dragon Ball Z game that I cannot tell what game it is. It's not Fighter Z because that's already on the list. So this is some other Dragon Ball Z game.
There are so many Dragon Ball Z games.
I think this is maybe more of like the single player story one where you're more against the computers, like playing through some of the set pieces from the TV show.
Why don't we just handshake on this throw at the very end of Not Played Good because we can't tell what it is. But Dragon Ball is a fun franchise, so maybe there's potential.
That's a great compromise. Now, I think Dead by Daylight is a good game. This was very fun. I agree.
Dead by Daylight is a good game. I think Dead by Daylight has some issues where like some of the monsters are significantly stronger than other monsters. But I think at the same time, it's not really held back by that too much because it's much more about the experience of playing with your friends than like being competitive. So I really liked this game when we played a few nights of it.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's so like the balance thing. Like I'm so unconcerned with that in a game like this. Like it's not meant to be like some competitive like get your best stats. Like this is just like pick whichever one you like the best and let's like be funny for a night and try and hide in a locker and not get your legs ripped off and stuff, like
it's so funny that like the monster is just one of your other friends and the other friends are like trying to escape from it, and it's just like the ultimate like shit talking of like you're coming for them and like you see one of your friends run around the corner and it's like, oh, I'm gonna get him.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Do you want to put it like right below Firewatch maybe?
I think that's good because Firewatch is also kind of creepy, so they can handshake on that a little bit.
I like that space for it.
Hmm.
It's good.
Yeah, I don't think it's as fun as maybe like Overwatch, which is like a
No,
really
no, no,
good
no.
multiplayer game, but it is definitely like fun to play in
Yeah,
little
I'd
bursts.
rather play Wii Sports than that for a night though.
Hmm.
DuckTales. People liked this on the PS3, but I've never played it.
Yeah, I've never played it. I
Hmm.
don't think I'm
It's
gonna.
it's a side scroller platformer, and apparently it's good, but I mean, it doesn't do anything for, like the brand DuckTales doesn't do anything for me. This is not played, not
Yeah, I
gonna,
don't
but
think Howard the Duck
no.
is very funny
This is
either. Like,
Scrooge McDuck.
oh, Scrooge McDuck. I thought it was the Marvel Howard
No, it's
McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck. It's
Okay.
like the
Oh,
Huey,
I
Dewey,
care
Louie. You
less
know those
now.
guys? Yeah, it's them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't care at
So
all.
the reason they made this is because I think there was like DuckTales Super Nintendo games, and they were like platformers people liked, like the Lion King one. So I think they made
Right.
this
I
as
know
like
they're
a
like
play on those.
nails hard too, aren't they?
I don't know about this one, but I think it's like I'd rather play it over like these shooters, and probably
Yeah, I would probably like just the
Watch
fact that it's
Dogs,
a
probably
platformer.
Terraria. Maybe can we put
Probably.
it after Spore or
Okay,
before
I
Spore?
think
I
that's
think Spore
fair.
as a concept is cooler, so let's put Spore higher.
Mm-hmm. Agreed,
Sure.
agreed.
Okay. Untitled Goose Game. Do you remember back when this game came out, like all the praise that it got and everything, and like and all the memes and everything? That this goose took over the world for a couple weeks there.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many like spin-offs of it now. Like there's so many like weird, wacky, like funny be an animal game. I mean, it's the kind of thing where I'm sure if I actually sat down to play it with a friend and I didn't have tons of exposure to it, we would have a fun evening. But the problem with this kind of game is you see so much of it online that like none of what's actually in the game can surprise you anymore. So instead of being funny, it's just like, oh, it's that goddamn goose game again, you
Right,
know?
yeah. I've seen him like trick this old lady before, kind of thing. I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But is it fair to judge a game on that too? I mean, I don't know.
No, I think it probably goes in the good category. Like some of the humor is genuinely funny.
Yeah.
Like being like the concept is good. Being a goose that's just kind of like going around and disturbing people is
Yeah.
a funny game. It's just like it's one of those things that it has a lifespan of how long you can enjoy it for, and
Yeah. And my
it spends
question's
a
always
lot
been
of time
too.
in the
My
spotlight.
question too is like I wonder like how involved some of the puzzles get with it, like from what you see, it's kind of like you do these funny little like steal this guy's keys and then you make it into the house and then you get the thing off the table and whatever, but like where does it go, that's what I'd like to know. I still think I
Hmm.
think it's good though. I would like to play it. Not more than Yakuza, not more than Slide, not more than Hat in Time.
No way.
Maybe after Resident Evil. What do you think?
Okay, I think that's fine. It's a little bit of like, a funny game to throw in with a really
Yeah.
like serious horror survival game.
Sure. Okay, Hollow Knight.
Now,
Give me the 15,
Hollow
20-second
Knight.
pitch on why it's amazing.
Hollow Knight is an amazing game. I think, as I said before, it's one of the only games I've ever played that feels flawless. Like
Mm,
there is not a single part of Hollow Knight that ever dips in quality. It's a perfect, complete package. The aesthetic, the music, the combat, the platforming. It's got everything. I would throw it up like I would put it above Dark Souls 3. I
okay.
think I did put it above Dark Souls 3 in my rating.
Okay. That's fine. I
Yeah.
like that. I like it.
I love this Hollow Knight.
Fair enough. That's a good
If the song
that's
ever comes out, oh boy.
this amazing category is getting better and better here. Yeah, if Silk Skyper
Oh
comes out. Oh
man,
man.
it
The
is.
delay.
And it will. Just, 2024.
That's right.
I'm hoping.
So this is Batman. This is one of the Batman Arkham games. I think this is Arkham City.
Hmm.
The
Now, is
second
that
one?
the one that I've heard isn't as good because you spend too much time in the
Oh,
car
no,
and the
sorry.
car isn't
This is Arkham Knight. So Arkham City is the middle
fun?
one up here that we put in good but not played. This is the one that's in the
Hmm.
middle where it is open world, but you're not in the car. This is the one where you're in the
Okay.
car, from what I can tell
Right. And
based on the picture.
I've heard, much like Mass Effect in the Mako, that being in the car is the worst part of it, and you are forced to do large car sections that are just
Mm.
less fun than being Batman.
I heard something
Um,
similar. I mean, this Batmobile is very different than the Mako. but I definitely heard some of the
Hmm.
same stuff, and I'm less interested to play it than I am the second Arkham City for sure. But probably
Should
not
we
that
make a
much less.
sly sandwich?
I think we can make a sly
Perhaps a
sandwich.
sly
Yeah, I
sandwich?
like that. Nice a
Okay.
bat
Two
witch.
two Batman and Batwitch. Yes.
This is Flight Simulator. Um, I think it's an old
Oh.
version though because I played the most recent one a little bit, and this does not look like that. Flight Simulator is really cool though, like the authenticity with which you can control the planes and like control see all the little
Yeah.
gauges and the airspeed. Like it's a very thorough sim in the way that like a Gran Turismo is for cars. So I think it's good and I think
Should
it's
we
cool.
should we rank this as if it's the new one? Because I think that's
Yeah.
interesting. And I
Okay.
really would like to try the
Yeah.
new one out, like just for a night or two. And I can totally see why people get into it and have the whole like flight like setup at their house.
Yeah. It is really cool and like I don't know. I don't think I've played it enough to say that I've played it, but I would like to play it
Okay.
more. So maybe it can go high up in here. Like I would put it like maybe the end of this suite of games that I'm actually interested in
I think that's
playing.
good. I think like Doom is kind of like a benchmark for me in the not
Hmm.
play good because I really do want to try like the new
Yeah.
Doom out. But
Yeah.
Flight Sim is like definitely a game I want to just like, like have a scotch and like relax and play
You
Flight
can't you're
Sim.
driving a plane.
I know, but it feels appropriate, like if you're gonna have a drink while flying a plane, like it's definitely a
Okay,
scotch,
that's fine, but you gotta just drive a little biplane. You can't be on a 747 or something with some passengers in the back. That's all.
All right. Well, I mean, I've got crewmates that can pick up my slack.
Oh man, No More Heroes 2. I played the first No More Heroes. It was very fun. But I have not played
Hmm.
the second, and I think these games are like a little varying in quality from how I understand the franchise.
Yeah, it's a franchise I haven't played, but it's definitely like weird enough that it's kind of on the radar just for being like kind of more of an experience than a game, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely would be interested to play it. I think the second one still is one of the good ones as well, and you have to, the humor. It's funny, like funny humor, and you get some motion
Yeah,
controls in
it
there from the
it
Switch.
kind of reminds me of like Nintendo's Yakuza is how I think about it.
Yeah, I could say that. Although I think this one might be multi-platform though. I think the first one may have been the only exclusive, but totally, yeah, totally.
Mhm.
What do you think about like Grounded, Hat in Time, Sandwich?
Yeah, I would put it. Yeah, I think that's perfect. I was gonna say above Grounded, but I still think Hat in Time with its
Okay.
electro swing is pulling ahead.
Okay. This game I've been waiting to get to for a while, Shogun 2. This is Skulls of
Hmm.
the Shogun 2, is it? Or is it because I used to have a game called Shogun something that my friend gave me for computer, but it was from a different country. And so because of the
Hmm.
coding, I could never play it. But I had a game like this, and yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you. But I've never
Um,
played it. I think it's a strategy game though, similar to like a Command and Conquer.
Shogun 2, it is a mix of real time and turn-based strategy. So I think it's one of those like war, like
Yeah.
big, like large scale, like total war games, but then there's also some like actual combat in it as well. It's kind of a neat
Hmm.
blend, and like this
So it's kind of
doing
like
it in
Valkyrie
Japan is kind
Profile.
of exciting.
Isn't it Valkyria
Oh yeah.
like where you move the units, then you get into the actual snipe, like you actually shoot guns or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
you do, but that one's on like more of like a Fire Emblem, like a small scale battle, whereas this is like a massive
Hmm.
scale, like big war battle.
I would play
Apparently
this.
it's pretty good though. It's
I would
got
play it.
really high ratings. So
I'd play
that's
it.
kind of neat.
I think it could be, maybe after Yakuza, after Batman.
Yeah, I did say samurais are always
How do you
cool,
feel? How do you?
so it gets some points for me from that. I would play it like maybe after Batman.
All right, sure. Let's put it here. Subnautica.
I want to play Subnautica. I haven't yet. It's been on PS Plus for ages. But it looks good. It looks kind of like a journey, or at least it starts out like a journey style game, but apparently it gets like kind of creepy and like
Hmm.
there's some mysteries to it. Um, and like underwater is just such an area in gaming that you really don't get to go very often. And like especially when it's like that's the main focus, not just like the one shitty underwater level, but like this is like the whole game is intended to take place there, so it's kind of a neat like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
atypical space.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. I've not played it either, but I would like to. Probably more than whatever we just put Hotline or Shogun. Probably more than Batman. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna put it like let's put it I don't know, before Silent Hill.
True. Yeah, okay, I think that seems fair. It's definitely on the higher side to
Yeah.
me,
I
for
mean, I'm
sure.
just tossing them in. You let me know if you want me to change
No.
them. Super
All right.
Seducer. What is
Super
this?
Seducer.
What is Super Seducer?
Well, Super Seducer. It's called Super Seducer: How to Talk to Girls. Oh my god, it's this game. It's like an FMV game.
Oh my god.
I think it's supposed to be really funny. It's like a dating thing, but it's like FMV, and it's supposed to be like if you can get a girl to go on a date with you, but I
Oh
think
man.
it's like intended to be like really funny.
Is it like
Or it's
self-aware of what
either
it's trying to be, or is it
hmm,
like made by guys that
it
think women are
has
gonna be like objects for their
now this is
usage?
tough. It has really high ratings, which doesn't help to distinguish one or the other. I don't know if it's like intended to be really funny or if it's just like so
Mm.
incredibly bad that it is very funny.
Okay, because this could be
Um,
wildly differently rated depending which version of that it is.
yeah. So I've clicked on the screenshots, and the first screenshot on Steam is a guy talking to a girl at like what looks like a club, and you have three answers to pick from. A is honest response, B is say you have none, and C is say you like to inflict pain on people. But it doesn't tell you what the question is.
Um. Okay. Okay.
I
How?
think it's gotta be like intentionally like
Yeah.
bad and funny. Like,
Let's put it beside Dragon Ball Z at the bottom of not played good on the optimistic hope
mm-hmm,
that it is self-aware and is trying to be a funny game.
mm-hmm. It has very positive ratings. Now,
Okay.
here's another one. How this one has the question: How will you break the ice? Option. Now, there's like 5 options here, but one of them is ask them if they're talking about you. If they say no, then ask why not. One of them is like say you recognize them. One option D is stealthily creep up on them from behind the sofa that they're sitting on. So
Wow.
it's gotta
Okay.
be a funny
Let's
game,
stick it there.
please.
Let's stick it
Oh,
there and
if
hope.
it's not a funny game, oh my fucking god, is this horrific?
What is this? This is Torchlight 2? No, Warhammer 2. Another Warhammer game.
The
Um,
Warhammer
let's
game.
toss it beside
Shout
the other
out to you,
Warhammer game,
Warhammer
shall we?
fans. Have fun with Warhammer.
Let's stick it right beside the other one and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
And similar, this is Yakuza 5. Where's the Yakuza section that we've not played but
Mm-hmm.
are good? Let's assume the
The
fifth one's
one to
better than
play.
the fourth one. Put it at the top.
I would hope so.
This is the original No More Heroes. Now I have played this
Yes,
one.
the original.
I have played this, and it was really fun. It was kind of like yeah, it's just a third person action style game. It's not the Devil May Cry style. It's more akin to like a 1-to-1 combat, but it's not like
Mm-hmm.
technical like a Souls thing. But it's like maybe a nice middle ground actually. I quite like No More
Mm-hmm.
Heroes, and the weapon is cool too. It's like a beam katana. It's like a take on a
Yeah.
lightsaber, and you have to like waggle the Joy-Con to reload it, like when it runs out of battery. It's kind of
Oh,
interesting.
okay, that's kind of
Yeah,
cute. There's some tactile elements to
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think it's pretty good actually. Let's put it between Limbo and Inside.
That's
Because
so blasphemous, but sure.
I like to make
Sure, I
this is a
like
fun
it.
way to do a tier list now. You just ruin the games that
We
should
we
be
have
beside each other.
chosen the chaos
That's
route.
right. I couldn't be happier with it. Ghost of Tsushima.
Now, Ghost of Tsushima, this is a very good game. Is it an amazing game? Is the question.
That's a good question. This one really rides that border. I think my
Mm-hmm.
argument for it being amazing would be, now I'm not married to it being amazing, but this would be my argument if I
Mm-hmm.
was to argue for that, would be that it has a good package of the single player and the really fun multiplayer mode.
The multiplayer is good.
And the other thing that it has going for it is it was really jaw-droppingly like one of the first like beautifully colored open world that we saw like in this new generation type of deal. And also, the wind was such a unique way to direct someone around.
That is true.
Like that was an innovation.
I think I am inclined to putting it
But
at
I
the
would
end
put it
of
like the
Amazing.
end of Amazing.
Yeah, I will put it at the end of Amazing for those reasons. I think it's bogged down a little bit by there just being a little too much open world tedium. Like, there's too many side quests that are just, they get a bit repetitive. But the actual core package of the way that the game works, the wind mechanic, the combat is actually really fantastic. And that extra, like, free DLC with all the multiplayer, and especially the 2-player co-op missions on those, do elevate it, and they really, like, you know, nobody expected that to be an addition to the game that just came out of nowhere. So I think it is an amazing game. I wish it was like more of an RPG and less of an open world. However, at least the world itself is like just an absolute delight to traverse. Like, I think that is actually, up until last night, where I took a bunch of screenshots in Bloodborne, partially as tattoo reference material. It was, Ghost of Tsushima was by far like my most screenshotted game on PlayStation.
I think it's the same for me too. I think it's the same for me. And like you said, that I think what puts it over the top is the multiplayer, like that 2-player multiplayer mode specifically, with like the missions, the way you have to like, okay, we're gonna stealth these people and all this. Like, that's super fun. Ori and the Blind Forest, or is this the Will of the Wisp? This is the Will of the Wisps. Okay, I'm playing this right now. Like, I'm literally halfway through. I'm going to talk about it on the next regular podcast. You'll have listened to it back on episode 27.
Yeah, that's great.
So let's see how I would rank it right now, having not finished it, and where I predict that in real time as you're watching this that I will feel about this game would be that I would say it's amazing. I think it's better than Shovel Knight.
Wow, that's impressive because you are like a huge Shovel Knight fan.
Yeah, I just think that Ori is the Spider-Man of 2D movement.
Okay, it just feels like so fluid.
It's
and amazing
so fluid,
control.
and like the animations of Ori themselves, it like does these flips and these spins, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so aesthetically pleasing. And like the backgrounds have that depth that we always, I always talk about, like you can see things going on in the background. So much to do in this game, like little challenges, incentives, and stuff like that. Go listen to episode 27 if you want to hear about Ori. But I think it's really good. You
just locked yourself into finishing this game and talking about it now.
I have no problem saying I'm going to finish it. That's for sure. I don't know if it's better than Cuphead. I don't think it's that good, and I would struggle to put it. I think it's better than Undertale for me. I would put it on either side of Odyssey myself, but I would love to know what you think of it.
Based on how cool of a game it looks and how excited you are about it, and maybe some possible recency bias of like being in the middle of playing it.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I want to give you
full jurisdiction of like, where do you want it to go on either side of Odyssey?
Look, because I've not finished it, I don't think I'm going to put it over Odyssey. But if it keeps up this level of quality and like keeps introducing the new mechanics and the ways to move around that you have, like, man, it's a special game. Very cool. And I'm sad that I haven't played it before because I downloaded it on launch day when it came to Game Pass, and it's been sitting there ever since. And I'm just like, I hate myself for not having played this.
Yeah.
Before. Okay, we got a few left to go. We're getting there though. About 10 left. We got Bayonetta. Now neither of us have played Bayonetta, have we?
No, but she is in Smash Bros, so that's some points for her. I think Bayonetta is a not played good game. Like, Platinum Games is supposed to be great, and I know the Bayonetta franchise has a lot of like a strong fan base. I think it's one of those games where like it would be fun to play it, but it's just, sitting down to play a hack and slash game over all the other million games. And I don't think Bayonetta as a character really like appeals to me in a strong way. I think I'd rather play Devil May Cry over the Bayonetta series.
Yeah, I would rather play Devil May Cry as well, but I also would really like to play Bayonetta. I definitely would have it on my list. Like the only reason I haven't played Bayonetta is because it's the first one is only on Switch, and that means it's $79.99, and it's from like you know long time ago. So, but I would really like to play Bayonetta, and so maybe we should compromise. I would probably put it actually right beside Devil May Cry 5. Where would you have put it? Let's stick it in the middle. Let's stick it in the middle.
Why don't we? I would have put it maybe after Yakuza, before Batman.
Okay, yeah,
so
that's fine.
Maybe we slide it like after Subnautica or like around Subnautica. Is that in the middle?
Let's stick it after Silent Hill 2, before Binding of Isaac. Okay. This is Call of Duty Cold War. Now, this is part of the era of Call of Duty that I've totally lost track of what order they came out in, and I don't know when this game took place or what year it came out in, but I do know that I certainly don't want to play it.
Yeah, I guess props for, picking a slightly different era to put your military shooter in, because I don't think the Cold War is like one that gets,
No, that's true. That's a good point.
Often picked up on. So that's maybe slightly interesting, but I think I'd rather play FIFA.
I would as well. I'd rather play Star Wars. I'd rather play NBA.
Yeah. I'd rather play Valorant.
Let's give it some points over Factorio at least. How about that?
That's true. Factorio has kind of become the new standard of like, ooh, it's a bit drab.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Crusader Kings, and I believe this is 2 or 3.
Didn't we already do 2? This is either 1 or 3.
I think this is 3. This is 3 then. You can see the Roman numerals now.
Oh, shoot. Okay. It should go with Crusader Kings 2 as slightly better than, I guess. I thought 2 was the most recent one, but I guess it's 3.
Okay. So where do we rank 2?
Oh God. There wasn't supposed to be a test. I think we ranked it in not play good somewhere.
Yeah, we did. But I'm looking. And it is... Oh, man. Great podcast content here. Here it is, near the bottom. Let's put it here.
Yeah, put it just above. Yeah. Looks like Joffrey Baratheon a little bit.
That's what I was going to say.
Slide Joffrey over there.
Cyberpunk. Ooh, now here's Keanu Reeves. I am so disappointed this game was bad upon release, because I was very excited for Cyberpunk, especially because it's from CD Projekt Red, and The Witcher 3 is such an acclaimed game, and I was super down to play this at launch, and then it just was like the biggest, buggiest mess in a way that a lot of games release these days. But this one really had that air of like they knew it was shitty and they released it anyway kind of deal. And it was removed from the PlayStation Store, and now it's had the redemption arc, and by all accounts is like a good game. But something about it's like sour for me a little bit just because of that release. But at the same time, I would like to play it at some point. So I don't know, like, how do you feel about Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I think it's probably on the higher end of good, not played good, because I think it probably would be great, and it's hard to judge it based on a bad release, because that's not the state of the game now. But you're totally right that it does kind of. I think what it is it's hard to be excited for something and then be disappointed and then regain that excitement. Once it's been deflated, it's hard to bring it back up.
I think the part about me is for the only thing that makes Cyberpunk different is because it was the deception around the release of it. It had so many problems that were obviously known, and then they didn't say anything and took all these pre-orders. Other games come out in bad states, but I feel like they're way more transparent about it, and Cyberpunk was the first one that kind of changed that in how companies report.
And it wasn't like it was just oh, the game works, but the online functionality was rough, and we weren't able to stress test it that much. It was no, it was just straight up
and also
trouble.
And also Cyberpunk is this release was humongous. This isn't just an average AAA game coming out and having some problems. This was potentially the biggest game of the entire year when it came out, from that Witcher pedigree and all that stuff.
So many people pre-ordered it. You're totally right.
It's a little bit of a different case, and for that reason, otherwise it would be top of not played good, and I would be now I still would like to play it, but maybe Horizon-y territory.
Yeah, I would still put it. I would put it maybe after Horizon, but above the other games.
Okay.
It's still a game that I think is maybe realistically on my list, but.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
same,
hard to
same.
get around to it.
You know what I would like to do though is watch the anime. Apparently, that's really good on Netflix.
Yes, I've heard the anime is great. That is like a lot higher on my list than playing the game because it's a cool world. So
Yeah, no, it is. It
um,
is. Doom Eternal
even
is another game similar to the other Doom that I would really like to play and haven't.
is this one new? Is Doom
Yes,
Eternal the newest
this is
one?
Doom Eternal, is the
Okay,
sequel to
then
Doom.
let's throw it up right before the regular Doom then,
I agree.
because
They make a nice partnership there.
hopefully it's just a little bit more.
Yeah, apparently it's better actually, from what I heard. So
Mm-hmm.
that's nice.
Yeah, I've heard very, very good things.
This is Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this game, let me tell you, everybody, is amazing. Love it so much. Yeah, I mean, talked about it a lot when it came out. This was like an OG game we talked about on the podcast, actually, like one of our very first big games.
I think it was you were playing it at time of launch, and then
Yeah,
it later came to the PS Plus collection, which I think we may have revisited it at
yeah.
that time.
It's such a special game, the way that it revamps the you know the old story from Final Fantasy VII and makes it kind of that hybrid turn-based action style, and you know, it just fleshes out so many more details into what was already a really classic game, but just expands on it in all the right ways, for me at least. Aside from the side quests being a bit repetitive here and there, like uninteresting, but the story is fantastic, and I can't wait to play more. I wish you'd played this game. It'd be interesting to see what you think of it. I think it's amazing. I don't know if it's. I think I would put it. Ooh, God, I don't know what to do with The Last of Us 2 in this.
I see you hovered over The Last of Us, and I'm just getting more and more stressed.
I just don't know, Kate. I just don't know.
Oh.
I think I like it more than The Last of Us 2.
Okay, but not more than Spider-Man.
But not more than Spider-Man.
Okay, that is interesting.
But that's a different day of the week. You could ask me again, and I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hades. Oh my God.
Hades. Now this is an amazing game, and this is an amazing game for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that is extra bonus points.
Yeah. Where? Oh God, I placed it somewhere by accident. Where did I go?
Oh no, it doesn't go there. Hades, no, come back. Oh, it's at the top of good.
Okay,
well, that's not
close.
Good enough.
It's close, but it's not enough.
Yeah, no, Hades is an amazing game. Man, Supergiant just doesn't miss, and Hades is maybe the best game they've ever made so far.
Does Hades go? Hades is amazing for sure. Like, it's high. Mm-hmm. Does it go beside The Last of Us?
Ooh, I think just in terms of ranking for both of us, like I would put it under a few of my other favorite games on this list, but because we both love it so much, I'm okay with that. Like, Hades deserves to be at the top of any gaming list. Like, it is a masterpiece.
Here's my argument for Hades. I got two places I'd put it. You can choose which one you prefer. Okay. I think it either goes here, beside The Last of Us, because it then beats out Persona and Hollow Knight, which are like two of our things. Or if we think Hades is a little bit worse than those, I think we could put it here. Sorry, here. Just after
above
Walking
Divinity
Dead. Just to get The Walking Dead and Sekiro and Dark Souls in above it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I for Hollow Knight and Sekiro and Dark Souls 3, I think I would put Hades a little bit lower. Hades a little lower. But I mean, it's just such a good game. Like, Supergiant doesn't miss. Like, there's that Periphery song that came out that's got like the riff from the when you die in Hades.
Yeah.
And I listen to that, it comes on in the car sometimes, and I genuinely get shivers just thinking about like how good Hades was.
Me too. I hear that song and I'm just like, and then I close my eyes and I envision myself like in a Hades run, and I can see like the Poseidon waves coming around my feet.
Dun, 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 dun.
Good times.
And oh man, what a great game.
It's fantastic stuff. Hearthstone.
This is Hearthstone.
What an interesting game. Have you played Hearthstone before?
I played a decent amount of Hearthstone when it was new. Mm-hmm. I really like TCGs, and I really like... So I kind of go through phases while I'll get into one for a while, especially when they're online, because it's just so much more ease of access than having to buy cards and find someone to play with.
Yeah, you have more opponents and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to spend like, $100 to have a half decent deck. So I like Hearthstone. It's definitely not my favorite TCG I've played, especially because a lot of the
Yeah.
later sets added in a lot of like elements of randomness to it. So it would be like this ability goes off between 1 and 6 times, or like this thing hits like
Yeah.
it bounces between cards, and I think there's also a lot of like cards that are just very very broken that you can pay to win in
Yeah.
Hearthstone, but I say it's a good game. I think it's still fun to play, at least like relatively casually. And I do really like that it kicked off the trend of online TCGs being very popular. Like I know there already were some, and like you can play Magic online, and like there's some bigger games, but Hearthstone I think was the first one that just like really blew up and like kickstarted it. So
Yeah. Online
um,
plays specifically. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. For online play specifically. And now there's a bunch of TCGs that are online only. Like they don't even have a physical version. It's just like hop
Yeah.
on with different, systems and mechanics. So
Yeah.
I like Hearthstone. I think it's good, maybe near the bottom of good, but it's
Yeah.
still a solid game.
I was gonna. So my play of Hearthstone is I really like it for the sense that it did the online TCG thing too, because that's my biggest issue with
Mhm.
TCGs. My two issues are I
Mhm.
love the idea of deck building, but in theory, I actually really don't enjoy it, and I hate feeling figuring out the mana balance and stuff. But the idea is really fun.
Mhm.
But I would say like I didn't enjoy the deck building for that reason, and then the online was an amazing thing to revolutionize like that for sure. And I'm sure there's other games that did it first, but this really was like a mainstream way to get into it. The thing about Hearthstone is I think, like you said, it's very. I get the impression this is the most pay to win TCG I've ever
Mhm.
experienced, and I just like I guess the game shouldn't be only panned for that, but I just hated like logging in and everyone's playing the same deck, and you
Yeah.
have no chance once they play their first two cards because you know what the cards 3, 4, 5 are going to be, and you have no chance. And then you factor in the fact that it's Blizzard, and they're not a great company, especially when this game was coming out. And it's like, do I really want to support that? And they're like harassing women and like partying, and you know, like I
Yeah.
don't like Blizzard as a company overall, and like it just all factors in together. I would have put this in poor, but
That's fair. We can compromise and maybe make this the top of
yeah,
four, because a lot of
yeah,
the problems you have with it are very valid and true.
yeah,
And it's not like I'm like,
yeah. Like
I
if
kind of like Hearthstone more for like the games that came after
Sure, yeah,
Hearthstone
for the
anyways.
precedent. Like
So,
if you and I were to have the expanded list of Hearthstone cards and like sit down and play, I would have a lot of fun. But the way that
mhm.
you have to interact with the game and you just get blown out by people that pay all this money on the game, like I just don't have any interest.
Yeah,
Other games you have more of a chance.
I I agree. I think, and that's like a problem with just TCGs in general. I think they always are. There's always deck lists and just like objectively better
Hmm.
cards, but
But I mean,
it
we fooled
definitely
around
felt
with
a little
other
bit more
ones.
prevalent.
Yeah, and we fooled around
Yeah.
with other ones before, and I've played like some Magic, like you said, and I mean you never have an
Mhm.
advantage if you don't buy cards in any of those games, but to an experience, I think this is the one that you have the least chance.
Yeah, there was, and like the things that you would lose to were there's so many things you could like win on turn one in Hearthstone. Like there's just more things that feel more like
Yeah,
bullshit.
it feels bullshit
And
in a
some
way where
other
it's like if you enjoy this game, you have to now buy those cards to be able to win, to play.
hmm
You know? Yeah. Hitman 3,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Does that go with
Or
our
is it
Hitman
Hitman 4?
collection, or have
I
you?
you know what? I
Hmm,
I've only played the newest Hitman to any kind of extent, so I can't really say, but I think putting it with the collection is a fantastic idea.
maybe above the collection,
Yeah, yeah.
considering it is a game newer. It's down by a Half-Life
Oh my
Alex.
god, thank you. I thank you. That was a challenge.
Man, this list is getting massive.
It's okay, we only have four
Um,
games to go. Superliminal. You
Okay,
played
and
this, right?
Superliminal. I love Superliminal. So I played this on the most recent New Year's, I believe. Me and some friends, I think we had a couple ciders, and we played Superliminal. And it was awesome. We really enjoyed it. I think the way it plays with perspectives is really interesting. And I think the game maybe started a little bit slow. Like we kind of like, okay, we get the perspective puzzles. Like, I think maybe it could have introduced things at a little bit of a quicker pace. But once you're kind of in the meat of the game, it totally like blew my expectations of just how the scale was going to be. Um, and like how outside of the box you had to really think about a lot of the puzzles. And then it ended up like having a surprisingly like profound message at the end, which I was not expecting just from more of like a concept puzzle game. So I like really was blown away by Superliminal, despite being like quite interested in playing it and like thinking I knew what it was gonna be, and then it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was more than that, I guess is the better way to phrase it.
Yeah, this game is super cool looking, and I remember I played Maquette around the same time and thought that was a fun one as well. So I would love to play this, especially after hearing your like extra little sprinkle on top of the story around it too. But where do you think it goes then? Somewhere higher and good, or?
I would. Oh, this is tough. I think it's really clunky to control. Like making stuff bigger is often like picking something up and dropping it 12 times, which is kind of funny, but it gets a little bit like clunky.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough to place this. I think it does belong on the end of amazing or the very first and good. I think I want to throw it at the end of amazing just because of how like creative of a game that it is.
That is higher than I thought it was gonna be.
Okay. I really recommend Superliminal as like a totally unique experience. Although that being said, I have to play Maquette and see maybe if I prefer one over the other.
Well, the way you're talking about this, I think Superliminal must be better, because I wouldn't have put Maquette near amazing. I would have put it like mid good, probably. Like maybe like Firewatchy. So
okay. So maybe Superliminal is like the one to pull.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to do a swap on that one at some point and see. Marvel's Avengers, Kate. The game that could have been. What could have been? You know, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But, you know.
This was not an Infinity War. This was a like.
This was a.
I don't know. This was an Eternals kind of situation.
You know, it's just one of those situations where Crystal Dynamics is a great studio, which was by all accounts probably forced into making one of these online service things because of shareholder profit necessity.
Yeah, this game reads a lot more like a corporate greed than it does as a passion project, which is a shame because it's such a like beloved IP to a lot of people.
I just think like what could this game have been had it not had to monetize itself, you know? Like that's the thing. Anyway, for that reason, I mean, not gonna play it. I mean, you do hear people say that if you just play the single player stuff and just do the mainline missions, like the story is actually kind of a neat Marvel story. And so like there's like the A-Day thing and Captain America's dead and all that stuff. So it's like for that reason I do have a little bit of interest in playing it, but it's so minimal and such a turn off for the rest of it. I would put it maybe the top here.
Okay.
What do you think?
That's fair. That's reasonable. I mean, I'm not really gonna fight for any of these not played, not gonna. So like I just want to throw it up.
I just think I'm not gonna. I wouldn't play Lego Indiana Jones over this. Like I just wouldn't. I don't know.
That's fair. I might, but not with enough gumption.
Yeah,
sure. I'll fight you.
Okay, so Wasteland 3, I've never even played, and never even seen so much as a screenshot of that game. I don't think.
No, it is a squad-based RPG with challenging tactical turn-based combat and a reflective story full of twists, which that actually sounds like a really nice synopsis.
Yeah. I am far more interested in it than I thought I was going to be based on the synopsis. Would you play this based on what you've seen on your Google search?
Based on my quick Google search and clicking on it on Steam, I think if it was a single player game, no. Being a co-op game, it actually looks kind of cool. There's like mech spiders that you're like fighting with a flamethrower.
Okay.
There's like, you know, like plasma weapons, it looks like. There's some dude with like really sharp jawline who's giving you a quest. Oh my god, the president's a clown? I don't know. I'm confused now.
That sounds like Saints Row.
I think this seems like, maybe good. It's got potential.
Okay. Cool.
Based on a very quick, confusing search.
So, what's your verdict?
I would put it above Hitman. Just because I have this weird anti-Hitman agenda going out right now.
Okay, that sounds good. And I'll take care of the last one, which is Yakuza Like a Dragon. This is, I believe, the first game that I played on Game Pass when I got my Xbox. So that's kind of a nice little feather in its cap, as it were. I like this game a lot. I think I like the first half more than the second bit that I played, just because I found that it got a little grindy for where I was at. And I don't know how much of that was me like kind of swapping classes of my characters and versus like the game's design itself, or maybe I should have just done more in the open world, because it is Yakuza, you're in, you know, the city and you can do your quests. But the shift from away from like the beat 'em up style into turn-based for Yakuza was really smart, and I enjoyed it a lot, and it was a nice change. You know, and you get all the extra sprinklings of Yakuza that you come to expect with the humor and all that stuff too. So this is a great game. I think like the grindiness, like the fact that I didn't finish it says something about, I don't think it was amazing, because I mean, the other Yakuza games like Yakuza 0, I think is amazing. So for that reason, I think it's like, I would maybe say it's like within the top few of good here. I think depending how strong you feel about Nier, I would maybe put it up there. But I mean, it's good, but I wish I would have gone back and played it to completion.
Yeah, I think because you didn't finish it, I would say it goes after Nier.
Yeah.
Now, this is totally on speculation.
I mean, I didn't even finish it either. That's the thing. Now that I'm talking about it, could I even put it that high?
It does seem good though. Like, this is the game that I would like to enter the Yakuza franchise with.
Yeah.
Because the turn-based appeals to me. I watched you play a little bit of it, and like the classes are really funny, because they're just like random jobs, right? But they're turned into like over-the-top RPG mechanics. And there's that guy who like breathes fire with like an alcohol bottle or something.
Yeah. It's a really funny game. You know, the humor is great, and like you said, the classes will be like a beatboxer or something, but he's got his microphone and like beatboxes really loud, so it hurts your ears and like stuns you or something like that. Like that's the kind of humor, right? Let's put it a little lower just because I didn't finish it. You're right, but that's not the game's fault at the same time. I think it could go like maybe just after Overcooked here, with the potential like it would be higher.
Put a silly game
it could be
beside
higher.
a silly game.
That's right. And with that, I think we're actually done here. So this is our list.
Oh my god. We did it.
What an accomplishment. What we thought was going to be 1 hour and a half-ish podcast episode just turned into like a nearly 3-hour marathon. Maybe even over 3 hours. I don't know. This is an accomplishment though.
I mean, this is a lot of games. Like 100 is a lot of games to talk about and to go through. And of course, we had to spend some time looking at what the hell Jungle Party was and learning about all the things that we've missed out on. But
that's right.
I think, we definitely. I'm glad we've played a lot of these games. I like that it was a very comprehensive list of a lot of different genres. Which made it more interesting. But yeah, this was a good time. A lot of games ended up in good, but you know what?
Yeah.
A hell of a lot more games ended up in amazing than they did in poor. So that's true. That's a good sign.
And you know, I think we've played like a decent amount. There is a lot down here, obviously too, but for 2 people, like we've got a lot of these covered. I think that's pretty good. Everyone, I hope you've really enjoyed listening to this tier list, the second half of it anyway, and following the whole thing along. So that's great. We've got 2 more episodes to go while I'm in England, so who knows what they're going to be. We have a little bit of a plan, but they've not been recorded yet, so we'll get to those when we do. But yeah, hope everyone's well. Hello from England. Hello from Kate's new house. And we'll talk about some more games on the next episode. So until then, remember, this has been Cloud Control, and it's the gaming podcast that's not just good, it's good enough. And we'll see you on the next episode.